This time on the wilds of Valandiir, I'd like everyone to join in on a journey across the realm to a place of magic, of culture, of wonder. You travel a great distance over land and lake, mountain and metropolis, up, emerging over a blanket of clouds as if the heavens were a rolling field of cotton. Behind a clumpy cumulus, you see it. You see... I show you what you see. There we go. A wide swath of rock with a sprawling city atop its flattened peaks. You see Thesia, the celestial jewel, high above the frosted bluff mountains. Thesia serves as a truly wondrous bastion of civilization. Held aloft by a mineral deposit low in the foundations of the city's bedrock, a levestone ore vein not found really anywhere since the ancient age of magic. This widespread urban sprawl claws into the sky with spires of white and blue stone, metallic towers glittering and gleaming in the sunlight, and bolts of prismatic energy flitting in between a few of the more exotic buildings. A small parrot-sized metallic bird flaps its wings with cogs and clockwork motion, along with rippling blue flames across its back as it slams through the alleyways and skitters between the tops of buildings, flapping its wings ever so brightly. It encircles a humanoid character marching down the busy street, his thumbs under his shoulder straps of his knapsack, mandolin on his back. This bird encircles Kravish. A young level 2 Kravish. You recognize this creature as Unat, one of your father's helpers that he's kind of on loan from sort of a few of his richer friends. This little bird character you've known to carry messages around and maybe small little scrolls in its little claws, but it's no bigger than a parakeet. And it kind of flips around as the hustle and bustle, and you hear music around you and people shouting and taking, doing business and conversing along the alleyways. As you march down the street, you see this creature.
Okie dokie.
What do you do as he kind of orbits your head?
Okay. All right, Unat. What's up?
He kind of straightens up and matches your speed as he kind of hovers, straightens his feathers, and kind of perches right on your shoulder. Mm-hmm. And he's got this kind of like, he's a pretty sophisticated little messenger automaton, and he kind of has a speaker at the back of his little tiny throat, and he opens his mouth real wide, it's almost like his head splits in half, and this little speaker kind of shouts into your ear. Message from your father. Please visit him at his shop on your way out of town.
All right. Message received. Thank you. Tell him I'll be right there.
He kind of gives you a little nod. He jumps off your shoulder, spreads his wings, and he has the capacity of flying like 3 times the speed of a hummingbird. So he just kind of bolts into the distance and disappears. You, in your brown leather, well-made clothing, not particularly expensive, as stylish as it can be at the price you paid, but clean and rather new. Aside from your pantaloons that were hand-me-downs from your father, they're actually the best pair of pants he owned when he gave them to you. And your mandolin on your back betrays your love in life. The city street is awash with commerce and foot traffic. and you, on your way out of the city, are inspired inspired into song, and of this undertaking that you've decided to go on. What, if any, did you ever imagine this epic you wish to write would be called?
Oh man, you hit me flat-footed here.
This could definitely be counted as draft 1.03.
1.0.1 final version. 23. Onward to glory.
Onward to glory. As you if you had a pen in your hand, you'd be chewing on the end of it. You sling your mandolin over your shoulder, and not really sure on what to sing. So you start by humming, and you begin plucking along with that humming. I would like you to give me a performance check.
17.
Yeah, at this time, you know this instrument very well. It was a gift given to you by your mother to encourage your talent and to inspire others the way you seemed to inspire pretty much everyone in your family. Although what you inspired them to sometimes remains to be seen, especially with your older brother. You stroll down the street, and begin plucking into your instrument. Other people give you pleasant nods, which grants you a bit of inspiration to step it up a bit. You begin clicking your feet, dancing along the alley, and doing your best to soak in not only the city as you'd be leaving it soon, but the general energy that brought you to this kind of desire for lore spreading and kind of cataloging the world around you into some semblance of an artistic flair. And that's when you see Burgle. You don't like Burgle. He's a rival dragonborn. He's a kind of a dull coppery color. He's a little taller than you, but he's very wide and very fat. He's flanked by two of his blue and green dragonborn friends. You've known these folks since, you were little, and he's always kind of picked on you. And unfortunately, as you see him and his mates, it occurs to you, yes, I owe Burgle money. They begin to approach you at a fast pace, to which you're sure they are going to collect either coin or blood. They are currently to your 4 o'clock, so they're behind you and a little to the right. They're not in your way to where you were going. What do you wish to do as they flight of foot towards you? And he kind of like waddle runs his way towards you, clearing people away that get in his way.
Okay. Any friendly shops in the area? Is my dad's shop nearby?
Well, your dad's shop is about, something like 1,000 to maybe 2,000 feet further down the city streets. It is on your way to your transport at the edge of the city. So if you were to just take the same route that you're already going, you would pass your father's shop.
Okay, but he's going to get there clearly before I do. All right. Well,
he's about 20 feet away.
Yeah, how much money do I have on me right now? Like, can I pay him back?
You have probably like 5 gold and maybe like a handful of silver and copper that you've accumulated up to this point, and that your mom gave you. She gave you 5 gold to sort of give you a little head start, because 5 gold when you're on your own is actually kind of a lot of money in a city, as long as you're not trying to buy like armor and stuff.
Right.
And you owe Burgle considerably large amount more, at least for your means. So, yeah, paying him with what you have would not only rob you of all your funds, but it would not solve your problem.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'm going to... What's the nearest shop nearby?
There's a kind of like a china shop or a vase shop. It's just adjacent to your left. You know the owner. She's a very tall, pink furred firbolg named Atha, and she's a friend of your mother's, like, not secretary, but kind of colleague. You know her
sure.
well. Okay.
All right. So I'll duck into the china shop.
All right. I need you to make either an athletics or a acrobatics check, just to make sure that you don't slam into something as you approach quickly.
Like a dragonborn in a china shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. 27.
Precisely. 27. Yeah, good enough. You are very tall, and you are among the dragonborn race in this city. It's not a city purely of dragonborn, but that is there's a lot of dragonborn in a city like this, compared to Dane or something like that. So you kind of tower over a great deal of the crowd, and he's also very tall, and he's just pushing people aside with his two cronies behind him. Hey, Crevace, get over here. And he's going to close the distance right at the moment that you duck your head, dive between two people. Your mandolin almost makes a sound, and you roll into this shop and slam the door behind you. And it's every door on this marketplace alley has pretty standardized heavy doors. So you pull this door closed, you latch it shut. Him and his cronies slam into the front of it, giving the whole front facade a shake that you're worried that that's going to rattle some of these vases and pots that are precarious. And you turn around, you spin around, and you see Atha. She's a very lithe, deer-like firbolg with kind of a pink and purple furry pattern, pastel-colored. She's got a couple of curling horns that sort of look like a couple of forked bones sticking out of her forehead and sweeping back slightly. And she goes, well, Mr. Crevace, where are you off to in such a hurry, and why are you slamming my door shut?
Well, it's a combination of what I'm heading to as well as what I'm heading from. That's more pressing right now.
And what business do you have?
Well, I'm actually...
Anything I can do for you? And she starts to clear a spot to the back door, and she's like, way out perhaps, and she can see Burgle and his friends pounding on the door and staring at you through the barred window. It's very small, and he's kind of like a lion in a cage. He's just kind of breathing through the bars at you.
Oh, Arthur, you know me so well. That would actually serve us quite nicely.
Yeah, she gets out of your way.
Thank you. Much love.
She just kind of slowly shakes her head in your direction as you disappear out the back, which is a significant shortcut through the city. As you were about to take a wide left, and her back of her shop goes to an alley that sort of cuts through all of that. You're pretty confident that closing the door behind you has closed the door on Burgle's harassment. You kind of do a good 25-yard sprint until you feel confident you don't hear any commotion behind you, and your gait slows to a skip as you retrieve your mandolin and finish your song as you stroll through the alleys, overstepping a drunkard, accidentally stepping in some spilled wine, or what you hope is spilled wine, until you emerge throughout the other side of the alley into the city beyond, where your airship ride to Darrow awaited you.
Okay, so there's my airship, but I needed to go visit my dad. How can I get there from where I am now?
Yes, hold on. Your father's shop was just a bit down the road, and kind of giving a side glance. Let's have a perception check as you gave the street a sweeping view, just to kind of make sure that wasn't going to be a problem. You are significantly far away from where you were now. And with a 29, you're looking over the heads of everybody you can. You don't see Burgle emerging from anywhere or looking for you. It seems you gave him the slip. Your father's bookstore and knowledge repository is at your back. You can smell his tea wafting through the windows. There are a few customers and a couple people at a couple of tables reading books that you can see. But you don't see your father behind his kind of counter desk.
Okay, so I'll go in and I'll smile. I'll see if one of the assistants or any of the other employees may be around.
Mm-hmm.
And if I see one, I'll just kind of point to the back office, like, he's in there.
Yeah, you give kind of like a understanding nod, and Dalcine, who is an assistant of your father, he's kind of a squat, silver-haired dwarf with sort of like red eyes from, he's got kind of a lineage where, there's a little bit of, you've known that he comes from a dwarven lineage with a little bit of devil blood. And likewise, he has these two, like, kind of like Daredevil from the comics, little horns that sort of protrude from the front of his head. Mm-hmm. And Dalcine just sort of, he's up on a ladder. He's putting away some books. And he just sort of catches your eye and slides a little closer towards you and just says, he's back there, but I've got to say he's a little teary-eyed right now.
Thanks. Appreciate it. And so I'll just kind of straighten myself up, take a breath or two so I'm not panting, and then I'll head on into the back office.
You see the top of your father's head. He likes to wear this leather sock cap when he's back here. It helps him think, he says. And you see his silvered scales that are a little more burnished, a little more tarnished than yours, but still have a gleaming silver glow to them. The torchlight around here gives this beautiful little reflective quality to you and your family when you're in this situation. And he's sitting there writing in a ledger, and he's facing you, but his head is down, and he just kind of, you can see his head rise just enough to where you can see your feet. And he says, well, is that time already?
It is. Flight leaves in just under an hour.
He slowly raises his eyes to meet yours, and there is a ring of wetness under them. And he just kind of snorts into his elbow and blows his nose a bit, wipes his eyes dry. Well, you got everything you need?
I hope so. I've taken every piece of advice you've given me, as well as the living expenses that both you and Mom have been able to gather up for me.
And he stands to his feet, and he's taller than you, which has always been sort of it's always been sort of amazing to you because you're full grown. Your mom is a rather short dragonborn, which is where you kind of evened out. But your father stands 8 feet if he's a foot, and truly a giant. Even in a room that he has built for him, he still looks big. And he puts one hand on your shoulder, and he goes, "Oh, I almost forgot!" And he jams his hand into his pocket and pulls out a kind of a whistle. It's like a brass whistle with sort of a silver chain that looks like you can kind of put it around your wrist if you need. He goes, "Here, take this." And you remember this whistle as some sort of a kind of a inside joke amongst your family, where if you ever need help, just blow this whistle and we'll come running just as fast as we can. And it's all, this is a magical object that once you blow this whistle, it acts as a sending message. And it also, if you wish, produces a small silent image of really kind of a simple object that you're thinking of, and it's usually a family member. For him to give this to you is a real big deal because it represents kind of we know we can't be together all the time, but we can at least pretend. And, once you guys got your magic mirror at your castle, you having this and wanting to use it seemed a little less efficient. But for now, you jam it in your pocket along with the 4 gold that he puts in your hand. He's like, I sold a big encyclopedia collection today. Got a little walking around money. So take one of these and stay somewhere nice tonight once you get down to Darrow.
Oh, well, thanks, Dad. Appreciate it.
And you see the wetness kind of collect under his eyes once again, and he is, I knew this day was coming, and you're an adventuring sort, and you're just like your mother, and I'm gonna miss you, and I want you to know that you can always come home. Some of us would prefer that way, but you have fun on your adventure. You write your stories, and you read them back to us when you swing by next.
Will do, Dad. Hopefully I can make them as good as yours.
And he just kind of pulls you in for a huge bear hug. And you can feel your scales clinking together, and you feel that warmth that only his hugs can provide. And he just kind of gives you one last look and says, all right, now I got to organize this. I got someone I'm meeting today about the Bristol collection. And he puts his hands up on a large 7-volume green leather bound book set that he's kind of dusting off and counting stuff and writing in his ledger.
Okay.
As soon as you turn around, he looks up and watches you leave. As you kind of, open his door and leave it open a bit, waving goodbye on your way out of the shop to the people that you know, his gaze just holds on you as you leave, and he puts his pen down and kind of puts the book down and watches as you make it your way for the front door of his shop, open the door to the rest of your life, and close the door behind you. So.
All right.
A crackling bolt of lightning deafens your right side. The sound of pelting rain, what started a few minutes to maybe half an hour ago. You look down on this scratchy wooden table you've sat down at your undead appearing hands, remembering this last scene you had of home. The rest of you also populate this room, this dining hall area of this house on the edge of the abandoned neighborhood of the Needle. I need everybody to give me a perception check, as you are all on high alert now that you're within the bounds of the Needle itself. And I'll put you back on the Needle map.
Guidance.
I'll roll for Yuno and Azia. Ooh, Yuno doesn't see much.
I don't know why I'm
and neither does Azia. Goodness. Azia got an 11, Yuno got worse.
Mine becomes a 27.
Okay, so who got below a 13? Definitely Azia and Yuno.
Nobody else, apparently.
Nobody else. Okay. Reaper got a 14. Pretty close. All right, so Yuno is sitting on the floor. That's his excuse, with his back to the wall. reading a book that he kind of pulled out of his illusion, which is weird. He just kind of like pulls this book off of his hip, and it materializes in his hand as he pulls for it. Anyway, and Azia is not praying to her giant gold statue in the middle of this abandoned building, but she is sort of kneeling and facing a corner and not really watching much. The rest of you hear an eerie quiet surrounding this house. You don't hear footsteps. You don't hear, people dragging their legs or moaning into the night, the sound of patrolling undead. Your forms do not betray any changes in your odor, and you all just basically kind of smell sweat in the air as you all have caught your breath, trying your best to be still, trying your best to be quiet. Azia kind of shifts her weight, and kind of her zombified form in rags sort of looks at all of you and says, "Well, what now?"
I'm kind of quiet right now. I'm still kind of lost in my memories, as well as kind of still a little sore for how everything went down.
Well, who has the best passive wisdom? I believe it's a cross between Valandiir and maybe Iona?
Yeah.
Maybe
My
Kravish?
passive wisdom is 20.
Mine's 22.
22? How about Valandiir? Where does he rank?
That's like passive perception?
Yeah.
23.
Okay, that's what I thought. So, Valandiir, you and Luna, Luna's not here. Don't know if you knew that. She is on the out. You guys aren't far away from the outskirts of the town, and that's where she's at.
Okay.
She's kind of patrolling the outskirts of the town near where you entered. And but you kind of crane your head into the direction of a window, and you hear a very faint thieves' cant tapping into the, I'm not sure, maybe the ceiling above you or the roof, but you hear kind of a Morse code thieves' cant that is very primitive. There's not a conversation. It's just here.
Okay. Right, okay, they're in position. What's the next step?
Do we want to try to take out any of Ara's lieutenants or the flying creatures first, or do we want to just go straight to her?
Well, now that I've bollocksed up everything, we may need to wait a while for the active search to die down.
Die down. Okay. Not sure how much more that it can die down, but
You do hear a distant wafting of wind, consistent with large wings. Seems like it's on the other side of town, or at least far enough away that it doesn't sound close within landing distance.
what do we need to do? We can try and stealthily move through the place, or we can, we're gonna get mobbed if we try and do a more direct approach, I think.
Yuno's going to poke his head up and say, I also vote against a blundering direct approach.
Yeah. Because we're over here in the abandoned neighborhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. And we need to get...
Yep. So, in the magic items, you have an object that I don't believe anybody has equipped. Called the Ring of... What is it called? Common Magic Ring, Undead Detection. I don't know if anybody can see that. I don't believe you sold that.
I don't think anybody does.
Mm-mm.
And it does not require attunement.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
This only... What's that?
Nothing.
It only works for one person. So I will remind the party of that object. And The fact that you are seeming into undead, you all have advantage on stealth checks when it comes to walking amongst them.
Right.
And I have disadvantage on my perception checks for them, which is already great.
Yeah.
Trust me. Let me look up a zombie's perception.
No, it's bad.
It's abysmal.
Yeah.
They may as well just not see each other.
They're not
minus 2.
They're not oblivion skeletons.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Ugh.
Skeletons aren't bad. They're just wafy, but zombies are actually pretty. They're, for like a low-level encounter, they're actually pretty hardy.
We could try going building to building. It'll take more time, but if we get into a building that has that is occupied, that could alert them to our presence as well.
I mean, I do have my eyes of the grave thing where I can sense the undead within 60 feet that aren't behind total cover, but that means that if they are behind total cover, I can't do it. But
total cover? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, from in here, you really don't detect anything, I guess? That's kind of dumb, but whatever. It seems a little weak.
I have to choose to do it. I can do it 5 times a day.
Yeah. Well, 60 feet. You guys, I'm assuming, are like here in like this house, or maybe like
where
maybe this one.
That one, I think that's the one.
Yeah. Yeah, where you're at.
Yeah.
60 feet. I'll say that you do. I'll say you. Well, it's behind total cover, so you don't see anything. You would imagine that you'd start getting a reading over here, though. I mean, I'm sure that's probably pretty obvious and logical. Again, on the roof, Baranor, you hear that little Morse code, tip tap, meaning we are here.
Okay, I will tip tap back, acknowledging them.
Okay, who would you say is nearest a window? Yuno's on the floor. Yuno's on the floor. Azia's on the floor.
I mean, Baranor's probably closest to the window, keeping an eye out.
Okay, you can see from the back of the house that faces the alley and the wall to the west of you, feet protruding down a kind of a gutter next to a window.
Okay.
They are leather-bound, dwarven-sized, and it just kind of parks himself to the upper right of the window. He's going to make a very easy sleight of hand lockpick and make it. He sees him slide the window down about like maybe 13 inches, and the two of them kind of do this real quick spider crawl along the top of the window and a double backflip down into the dining room where you're all at. And they get to their feet, they turn around, and they both kind of and they both draw their weapons. Okay, and I'm gonna say that Marcus is gonna swing at Baranor.
Oh, great.
He just popped into a room where you were knocking, and there's like 6 or 7 undead. Yeah, that's a natural 15. That's gonna be a 22 to hit.
That is.
Yeah, and he's a fighter. He's got more than one attack. He's gonna attack again with his extra attack. That's a natural 3. That's gonna miss you.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll say out very plainly in my voice, it's us, you dinglings.
Hold on, I have to roll damage. Sorry. Oh, 1 second. It's not sneak attack. Although, no, it is. It's his first attack on you. Oh, no, he's that's the rogue. He's not a rogue. Let's do this. He's going to hit you for 15 points of slashing damage. He cuts through you with that first attack. And he goes for a second attack, and you catch him at the wrist with your zombie skeleton hand. And he jolts at this skeleton. Undead don't typically do that. And he looks at Kravish's direction and kind of grunts in the air. And his brother Amos lands on his feet, and he also draws his weapons, but his brother is like staying his hand. And you hear him, those of you who can speak Dwarven, he just kind of grunts, Uvos, and he just kind of says, that you?
In Dwarven, I'll reply back saying, yes, it's us.
Yeah, and Marcus kind of spins his head around to you, who's holding his wrist, and he just kind of gives you a look up and down, and you hear him ask you, you look like shit. What happened to you?
It's a disguise, numbnuts.
Yeah, he's a fighter. He doesn't have a lot in intelligence.
Yeah.
And he just kind of backs up, and all of you now, everyone's risen to their feet as quietly as possible, but, those of you with weapons definitely would draw them or ready a spell just because there's violence that just happened. But they kind of give you all a look, and everyone just kind of is like, yeah, it's me, it's us, relax, stuff like that. And they come to their senses, put their weapons away. He's going to... Now, you've met Marcus and Amos, the Mellish brothers. You never worked with them.
Yeah.
But you've met them, and they're kind of assholes. They steal when they can, what they can. And, the fact that he got the drop on you here and sliced you one kind of sticks in your craw a little bit, and he sees that. So I'm going to see if he is going to feel nice. Yeah, that's fine. He's going to kind of give you a guilty look, like he's just going to mutter, sorry about that, and kind of tap your arm with his fist, and he's going to hit you with a healing spell.
Okay. Don't let it happen
again. He just says, no promises.
Yeah, we should have warned you.
That's almost as much as you lost.
Yeah.
14 back. Rolled really, really well. Double fours. Okay. So they're going to kind of, spend a little time. Reaper, they're going to sidle up next to you, and they're going to kind of use Thieves Can't sign language with you because they don't speak Common and you don't speak Dwarven, right? I don't think you speak Dwarven.
No, I don't. I do.
Yeah, so you guys have been communicating with hand signals and stuff.
Mm.
So they're just going to sidle up to you and kind of give the initial kind of salute greeting. It's kind of like a one-handed sway with your hand outward. It's kind of the greeting of the syndicate.
Mm.
And with kind of a silent clap, turning his hand over, making kind of tracing a circle around the outside of his palm, he's giving you kind of a few questions like, what did we miss?
I'll just give him a rundown. Quick, no nonsense, kind of just the facts.
Yeah. There's not a lot of chit-chat with this kind of Thieves Can't. It's hard to shoot the shit when it's like guttural caveman speak. But you get the point across, and they kind of give an acknowledgement. And then you see him kind of, Marcus turns towards a window real quick, and Amos quickly flashes like a rubbing your fingers together money sign and a question of, what do we got so far?
In terms of loot, I'm just going to give him a look that conveys, you got to be kidding me. We've been here for 45 seconds.
He's going to give you a look like, no. I mean, since we hooked up with these people, and he's going to flash you the number 4, 2 zeros. And he's going to nip from his pocket the top of a necklace that he took off of someone in Hopton.
Okay.
And he's just going to give you a look like, how about you?
It's just gonna open her palms, so there's nothing in it.
Yeah, Marcus catches this too, and he audibly says, in Dwarven, nothing. And, Baranor, you hear that, not sure what it means. You're also kind of...
I mean, if I could see their thieves...
Yeah, I was going to say, you're catching this too. I forgot of course you're in the syndicate as well. Anyway, yeah. And, but it's not shocking to you. The Marquis wouldn't send these people to help if they weren't going to bring home something for their troubles. So, you kind of, you've been patting your pockets and making sure they don't have had any light fingers with you or anybody in the group. But, this is, I guess, part and parcel when working with thieves. But they, Marcus kind of gives you he kind of shakes his head a little like, you gotta get with it. You gotta get in the game here. We're playing the long game. These people, they don't matter to us. They're just a paycheck. And Amos kind of smacks him in the head like, they're not that bad. And Amos kind of looks at you and goes, yeah, but he's right. You need to fill those coffers. He'll be asking.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't send me on these trips for my thieving ability, shall we say.
The evening draws on into the 7 or 8 o'clock hour. The skies begin to darken. Still not really late enough in the year for the morning or the evening to last very long. And you can hear the sound of distant roiling fire. Through the window between the buildings, you can see a residual glow in the sky, as if a massive bonfire somewhere in the vicinity of the village is bringing a early evening glow to the sky. You do hear the booming sound of either a lot of footsteps in the distance or a few large footsteps in the distance. Not exactly sure. And you can hear the distant shouting of incoherent babble between angry people or authoritative people, not sure.
But we can't really make out what they're saying.
Make a perception check.
I'll guidance myself before I make that check.
Solid 11.
Guidance as well.
Oh dear. Natural one from Iona.
I'm headed to like 14, but a 1 is a 1.
Yeah.
29.
Reaper and Iona. Can't really hear much. You're on the other side of the house anyway. Yeah. Kravish and Baranor, however, you can hear not like conversation as if you were sitting there, but you can catch like the echoey, trailing, sound is weird when you're far away and between buildings, but you can hear the faraway echoing at the end of comments or orders or sentences. You hear unchain them. You hear ready the doorway. Not so crowded. Continue your search, and things to the effect of high alert, pay attention, don't go anywhere alone. And you can hear now footsteps beginning to walk close to the buildings to the the northeastern edge of the abandoned neighborhood. You can hear the sloppy, wet movement as the rain has turned the alleyways of cobblestone into sloppy, muddy, mud roads, and you feel your muscles tensing up. Seeming is still in effect. It lasts 8 hours. You've only been here for maybe an hour. Well, you can call this a short rest if you'd like. I don't know if it really matters to anybody.
Okay. Have we heard any of the winged creatures going about lately, or?
Not so much. It's a little difficult though because of the rain to make all that out. Like this is like shouting and the rumbling of traffic that you kind of feel in the ground beneath you rather than really hear it.
Do we want to start moving now?
Can Yuno send out his raven, or could Koza wild shape into like a raven or crow or something to that effect to go out?
I'll turn into an owl and owl.
Okay, so I will roll a perception check for Yuno's crow or raven. Yeah, he just kind of snaps his fingers, and a little spectral crow that solidifies into, or not a crow, a raven solidifies into a real raven, and he just sort of whispers in its ear. It nods and you know, out into the window and takes off. You see his zombie eyes. They're white because he looks like a zombie, but they roll, and you kind of see them move, and he rolls back even more, and he just kind of whispers, "I can't see anything. It's freaking raining." Because his raven didn't see shit. You got a natural 1.
Oh, well, sun over beach.
Yeah, so Koza, your owl, you sort of spin around, and your little horned owl shape flaps its way out the window that the raven went, and you see why. It's really frickin' nasty out. The rain makes it really difficult to see, especially when you quickly see there's a fire in the distance, so it's kind of like it's illuminating all of the raindrops and just taking up all of the light, and it's not the easiest thing to see. So I need you to make a perception check for your owl at disadvantage. And was anybody else doing anything besides
No, I was going to say that we could use the elements as cover and make our way toward the spire.
Wow.
Ooh, that's still a 21.
Yeah, nice. Really good. So as an owl, I'll say that you sort of adopt their skills are nocturnal. So they're used to seeing in the dark, whether it's raining or not. How high do you want to go?
I'll say I just stop at rooftops and just sort of watch from the corners of huts and stuff like that.
Oh, so you want to get close?
Yeah. I mean, what are they going to do with an owl?
Okay. So go ahead and make a stealth check with an owl's dexterity.
There's an owl's dexterity. Hang on.
It's probably high because they're very quiet.
I just want to be accurate. Okay, +1. Okay.
Wow, that's it?
Yeah.
They have silent wings.
Yeah, but it's an animal, I mean.
And you were like a brown and white object. 13. So not very stealthy. You land with a thump on the edge of a building, and I'm going to say it's going to get the attention of somebody with blood pumping through their veins, and they're going to look up at you and look at you for
fly away to
about 6 seconds. Okay. I'm going to see what he wants to do, because he totally saw you. He didn't really know what to make of it, and he's going to go back to what he was doing. You just land on a 7-foot peak of a building. It's big ass owl. Yeah, well, he doesn't really do anything. He just kind of goes back to what he was doing, which I'll say in the moment that you landed, you noticed that he looked like he was stringing this. He was winding rope around a spear.
Okay.
And it had a real hooked, barbed spearhead. And he just went back to doing what he's doing as you fly away. How high are you going now?
I'll probably just sort of fly like 30 feet above town.
Okay, that's going to be plenty in the rain. Enough distance to cover you.
Then probably
no. It'll be good. You won't be seen up there. It's raining. So you fly above town. Are you heading towards the center of town? What's your pattern like on this map? Let me get rid of this thing.
Hang on, let me just zoom back out. I'll probably just do like a big lap around town and just sort of come back.
Well,
just to see like what we're working with as we're sneaking through town.
Right. So, as you, I'm going to just say you do a counterclockwise from here to here and around the whole town. The first thing your owl form catches is it's masked a little by the rain, but the acrid odor of death and decay over this region. And you can see as you hover in some places just to get kind of like a snapshot, as the rain does make it a little difficult to see. You see the tops of heads and shoulders of zombies, of armed skeletons just standing in place. It looks like they're kind of not even muttering to each other, but just sort of chittering to themselves. What's that?
So just awaiting orders.
And some of them are slowly, listlessly wandering, like take a step here and then lift leg and take a step there, and moving very creepily slowly from one side of this region to the other. But most of them just stand kind of stock still, swaying at the knees, occasionally looking up, looking left, but mostly keeping their heads down as you make your way counterclockwise around the town over this building or set of buildings. They all look very empty, the streets, aside from some humanoid foot traffic. But from one building to another, you see crates, you see pallets, you see horses and carts with lots of goods. Everything is boxed up or banded or barreled. Nothing is really out right now. But you can, with your owl's perception, smell goods of some kind. You can smell, lumber, and you can, the metal of tools, and the smell of humanoid sweat as you briefly pass over it. And that's kind of the way it goes across the whole town. Over here, you hear the kind of roughhousing rabble of almost like a tavern, but more intense, more hateful jeering and cause for gambling and things like that right over this location. And you just hear the shouting and the slamming of glass and what sounds like fighting of many people, maybe dozens of people. Over here, it's a little quieter, but you do see the foot traffic of some walking around. There is between these two regions here, occupied houses and the wandering dead, there's a fence made of like carts and crates, like a wall that they've erected to separate these two. Over here, you hear instantly the sound of a deep, bellowing, screeching sound. Large vocal cords are making this sound. You also hear the very fast whipping of wind from inside. You hear heavy scratching. You also hear humanoids shouting like, hold it down, chain it good, make sure the lock is tight, things like that. And by the time you get over here, you hear what sounds like maybe 6 or 7 voices. Can't tell what they're saying. It's raining and you're 30 feet up. It's a large house, though. And there are guards kind of around the perimeter. And all the time that you've been encircling the village, you've kept your eye on the central feature, the needle. This towering spire of wood and black iron, tapered at the top with a ring of balcony windows about 3/4 of the way up. From your vantage, even through the rain, you can see an eerily green glow pulsing from within those windows. As you make your way back to the abandoned neighborhood, you keep your eye on the top floor of that needle structure. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy. Oh wait.
Wow.
Okay, good thing that was the same roll. All right, 17.
You don't feel a targeting to your psyche, your mind. You don't feel a grasp around the back of your head of psychic hands looking at you. But you do catch the energy of someone searching into the mind's eye of the noosphere around you, looking for you, looking past you, looking above you, looking below you. Hasn't caught you yet, but it is searching.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you reach the house that you know your friends are occupying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that is what you see.
Go back in through the window and I'll relay everything I saw. Very quietly, of course.
Yeah. Do you have to wild shape back into Koza to do that? I don't know that you can speak as an animal.
It will let me speak.
Is he back? Is he back with us?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, I can mind link with you.
Oh, well then we'll do that then.
Yeah.
So that I can stay in that wall.
And then I will relay what he saw.
Yeah.
Because I can stay an owl for like 7 hours.
Okay. 6 zombies and an owl. And 2 dwarves. Yeah.
Is it a zombie owl?
Is it a zombie owl? No. I wouldn't think so. I don't know if you can do that. Can you do that?
If I could, I would like to.
I think a zombie owl is a different creature.
That's too much for...
I mean, it's either that or the seeming goes over the owl.
It's just a flying skeleton. No, I would say one illusion supersedes the other.
Yeah. But it's not an illusion. He actually turned himself into an owl.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyways,
that would be just too funny.
Yeah,
we're not allowed to be that funny. This is serious.
Yeah, it'd be like a weird Skyrim glitch, just seeing a zombie fly around.
I don't think there are zombies in Oblivion, right?
The Draugr can fly. Yeah.
Yeah, there are zombies in Oblivion.
But there's no zombies in Skyrim, unless you count Draugr, which I don't, because that's a different monster.
Mm.
Zombies are like gooey and juicy and stinky. Drauggr's like beef jerky with a sword in its hand.
Anyway.
Anywho.
Okay, so my question still stands. Do we want to use the rain as cover to make our way toward the needle as zombies?
I think we could, if we're still kind of careful about it.
Thing is, if it weren't raining, I'd suggest us stopping off at the barn to see if we can set fire to it and burn those flying creatures in what I'm guessing is their equivalent of a stall. But because it's raining, that's not really going to work. There's a chance that we could, I don't know, shut them in and prevent anyone from loosing them, but given the number of troops that Ara has, it would probably be too easy for her to send someone to set them free. Even if we tried to, hammer the doors shut, for want of a better visual metaphor.
Well, I'll say that Koza flew over the barn and saw that there were guards, heavily armed guards and armored on either end of the barn. And there were also other people there too who also had weapons, but it didn't look like they were particularly guarding it. There was quite a bit of activity around the barn, and there were also undead kind of standing patrol and things like that. So I'll say that your notion of sneaking up to it and not nailing the door shut, I would say that you have the wherewithal to know that's probably not going to be a good idea.
Yeah. It was like, if things were different, I'd try this, but unfortunately they're not different, so we can't take them out of play.
You also have foot traffic around that mansion. You have foot traffic, maybe a dozen people total around the tavern. You've got people traversing. You have humanoids walking in between these buildings, like, maybe one every 30 feet, couple groups here, couple groups there. And lots of undead pretty much everywhere. Especially in the areas marked the Wandering Dead. That's pretty dense over there.
I am a little curious as to who's in the mansion, since Ara seems to be using it as a base, but I guess it could be her lieutenants or something.
I mean, on our way, we can kind of maybe swing by there and kind of give it a discreet look, but...
When we have the scrying orb thing, can't we just spy on her?
What?
The orb thing that lets us scry on someone.
I think has it.
Okay.
The thing that lets us view a place we've been before?
Isn't it also
that thing.
Okay. I thought it was like a person too. You could.
No, it's only something you can view somewhere you've seen.
Okay, I thought it was like a person.
Is it just places or is it people too? Let me look.
I thought it was places because I'd been using it to look at
you might be right.
A meadow back in my
any location.
Area.
Well, wait a minute.
The location is on top of someone's head.
Iona has been inside the needle.
She's not been inside it. I've watched it. Never got inside.
Okay.
Was never allowed inside.
But
although I will say, you do know the needle has an extensive subterranean structure. You at least know that.
Yeah. But I'm guessing I don't know what's down there, and knowing Iona, she doesn't like not knowing. Aside from that, there is
Have you been
chance
anywhere in particular around here?
Well, my thoughts are that the more morally shiny of the party will veto this, but there's slave processing and storage, which implies that there's slaves, and freeing a bunch of slaves to do whatever the hell they choose to do would probably be something of a distraction. So they would probably die horribly, which is why I'm saying the more morally shiny of the party would probably veto that.
Well, they're likely to die anyway, and I think that it would be much more preferable for them to die in defense of their freedom and their livelihood than their lives, as opposed to becoming undead minions. I think, given the two.
Wouldn't they still become undead minions if they died?
Well, it depends on how good a job we do.
Yeah. Fair enough. So what's the plan? What's the play?
You feel, as you say that, Baranor, kind of a rush of cold up your left side. Kind of inconsistent with the weather.
Okay. Do I know what this could be?
You could make a nature check.
No. Oh, so that becomes a 17.
I mean, there's lots of reasons for you to feel cold wind. It could be any one of 16 reasons. You don't see anything. You don't see anything around you.
Does anyone else feel that?
Do we?
Kravish, come here. Come within 10 feet of me.
Well, it's gone. It was very, very brief.
Okay,
that's all.
Never mind. It's gone now.
What's gone now?
I felt a cold breeze on my arm. It might be nothing, but where we are, I'm not trusting anything.
Okay. Is the cold breeze in the room with us right now?
You don't feel a thing. You don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Well, you can see things that we can't see it, right?
I don't have dark vision, but
I thought you had blind sight.
I have 10 feet of blind sight.
Yeah.
Oh. And blind sight is into any dimension? Like, how does that work?
No, that's true sight.
Okay.
I do have the mirror of true sight.
Blind sight is what you can smell at 10 feet away, right? You can smell them.
Or I can use other. I can use other things. I can detect things that don't rely particularly on sight. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, echolocation, other heightened senses, things like that. I do have, though, the hand mirror of true sight, which I can pull out of my pocket or my bag.
But you can see shit behind you.
I can see
didn't sell that?
me. I can, huh?
You didn't sell that?
Oh, hell no.
Oh, okay. I thought you sold that.
I'm not going to give that away.
Yeah.
No, that was a recent acquisition.
Relatively.
Sure was.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm giving that away.
Okay. So what you see as you kind of look in the mirror over your shoulder, really.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a 360.
Or maybe angle it a little, and you do see a very slight blue wispiness disappear into the wall, maybe like 6 inches up before it's gone.
Dude, there actually was something.
Iona, you also feel a coldness kind of grab you real quick, and you shiver real fast. You weren't expecting it, and then it slowly dissipates and it's warm again.
Hey, can I do a check to figure what that was? Or
When I hear her shiver, I kind of spin around with the mirror over that way.
You also see the same blue energy sort of disappear. It looks like it's going down into it looks like there's no basement here, but there is like a crawl space under the floorboards that it disappears down into.
Some sort of kind of a wispy essence or something that it's kind of once it touches you, it's like going down into the floor.
Is it?
It doesn't have any particular form, and not the form or feature, just sort of a wispiness.
Can I search the floor and see if there's any like trap doors or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Make a investigation check. Is there anywhere in particular? You'd have to be very specific and particular about where you're looking and what exactly you're doing. Because
I'll show you the areas that I saw it seep into.
I'll start there, but
okay.
This is like the dining room, right? I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm checking under tables. I'm checking like for any sign of like a hidden door.
I see. You do see it's not hidden, but it is under a rug that's been long tattered. And you find a hatch. It looks like it's locked. Looks like it'll swing up and over and reveal that crawl space.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna
with a 27. You don't see a little fishing wire string. You don't see any evidence of being messed with recently. It's actually kind of rusted shut.
Okay.
And furthermore, I'm going to say you look around this dining area, this central dining area, and you don't see any traps. You don't see every doorway is missing a door, so there's nothing to lock or trap throughout the house. And that's when you feel that cold again, and this time you actually feel it gripping you. Yeah, and it's almost to the point where you have to like restrain yourself from being held before it slips away and the warmth returns. Kravish, if you spin that mirror around, you see a spectral, glowing humanoid torso with a trail of fabric or ethereal ectoplasm that trails to the ground. Its mouth agape and slacked, missing several teeth, eyes sunk in and glowing a light blue. It looks directly at you through the mirror and rushes towards you. I need you to roll initiative as I place you on the map.
Okay.
Okay, so you all still look like zombies and skeletons. This ghostly spectral character rushes towards Kravish. He's going to make a surprise attack on you, Kravish, which he got a natural 1.
Gonna miss.
Yeah, so he just kind of, I'm going to say he dives through you and makes you all cold and shivery inside, and you see it kind of stop between Iona and Koza. For right now, and it was all done silently. For right now, because is so high in the turn order, he's going to make like a sneak reaction and just put his skeletal zombie finger to his lips and just go. And as he does that, you see another one rise to the floor right here. All right, Reaper, you are up first. What do you do? There are 2 spectral creatures in this room.
Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna cast Bane on
Bane.
Yeah. They need
All right.
to make a charisma saving throw.
Is that a verbal component?
Yes.
Okay, so I just need you to make a stealth check as I make my charisma check for the ghost.
15.
15. Good enough. You're able to you have to speak in order for this spell to work, but you're able to kind of hush it under your breath. And I'll say that 15 also counts towards you're able to craft this spell without the glowing, warbling, pulsing sound accompanied with it normally, and just sort of a wistly, whispering sound kind of goes over this this ghost who rolled an 11.
Yep, that does not pass.
No. So he is now going to roll a minus D4 with every one of his attacks. So let me denote that with him. The one near Kravish, it'll be both of them? Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, then I need to roll for the other one then. The other one got a natural 2. That's 5.
Yeah, no.
So they're both baned. So let's make them weak, I guess. The little guy with the arrows in his back. Sure. Why not? Okay. All right, that's your action. Bonus action movement.
Having slow computer problem. Go back up into the corner over there.
I hate those.
It's like everything is on a lag. There we go. And I'm good.
Okay. While you're backing up into that corner, you see he's also going to back up next to this staircase that leads outside. And you see him frantically looking through his book, because most of you know that most of his spells make noise, and he's frantically looking for one that's quiet. So
exactly his forte.
No, he's like no fireball, certainly not a fireball. Not thunderclap. Toll the Dead seems like a bad idea, and he just keeps kind of going through. So what he's going to do is he's going to do something that'll serve him, and he's going to cast Blur on himself. And he will definitely try to pull this guy in this direction. So I'll make a strength check for the ghost. I'm going to say that passes. That's pretty high for a ghost's strength. Oh, wait, -2. It's a 13. I'm going to say he fails. He's going to move right here. That's going to be Yuno's turn. Yuno is blurred. Kravish, you're next with Baranor on deck.
Okay. No moving. Okay. I am going to draw Anthem's Edge. I'm going to come over this way, and I am going to stab him with Anthem's Edge. 22.
That hits.
All right. For damage, that is 12 points of piercing, 7 points of radiant. For my bonus action, I am going to now, that's the Divine Smite is a bonus action.
Okay.
So I'm
What level?
cast third level.
Third level, you notice that with your radiant damage, doesn't seem to have the effect you were expecting, being confident with your radiant damage, but it definitely hurt the crap out of it.
Yeah, well, I haven't rolled my radiant damage yet.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. This is undead, so that's 5d8 of radiant damage.
Okay. Yeah. It definitely carved this thing up and blasted portions of its torso into ethereal nothingness, and it sort of reconstitutes and stitches itself back together, and looks like it's trying to back away from you even further at the moment.
And that's all I'm going to do.
Okay. So I rolled, because I didn't add it to the turn order, I rolled an 18 for the ghosts, so I'll have them go now, but he should have gone before you, but that's okay. Mm-hmm. But that's all right. So this ghost, its mouth opens wide. It has almost like leech-like teeth that just wind around the perimeter of its gaping maw, and it looks like it's drawing in breath and wind from behind you, through you, and into itself, and it grasps your shoulders with its claws.
You're being who?
Yours.
Me? Mine. Provision.
Yeah,
okay,
it's leaning right into you and pulling on you. That's going to be a 16. I don't believe that hits you.
No, it doesn't.
And he is going to shift. You see him go from corporeal to almost incorporeal.
Yeah, it doesn't hit me.
No, it doesn't.
Uh-uh.
And he's going to shift his form and descend into the floor beneath you.
Can I get an attack of opportunity as he leaves?
No, he just kind of shifts into a form that you couldn't hit. Like you kind of whip at it with your sword, but it's like through smoke. Gotcha. And he's going to descend into the floor. Mm-hmm. So I'll temporarily let me create a box that you can't see. Come on. There we go. We'll put it right here. No one's going outside. Oh, crap. Not everywhere.
Now I just lost everything. Now it's a...
Yeah, I know. There you go. Okay.
Who turned on the lights?
It is quite dark. There's no electricity or torches or anything. So let's put him right here. Nope. Right here. Nope. Gotta back up. There we go. Okay. However, this one is not fazed by that at all, and he is going to make a rush at who's closest. The Mellish twins are over here. They're hiding behind a pillar. It doesn't see him or them. Let's just say it goes towards the skeletal, zombified Koza. And this creature is also, its eyes grow as wide as cantaloupes with this hallowed, screeching, moaning as it kind of grasps onto you and attempts to like siphon away your life energy. That's pretty good. That's a 22 to hit you.
Silver
Koza,
bar.
you're muted.
Yeah, sorry, that hurt.
Okay. Silvery barbs. All right, I got to re-roll, right?
Yep.
All right. That's a natural 20.
Well,
Do I take that one? I got to take the lower. Okay, so that one does hit. So you just negated my next natural 20. That's how I'm going to see that. So whatever I was going to roll was going to be a natural 20. Damn it. Okay. So that is going to be. Okay. Where's my roller? There's my roller. Oops. Okay. You suffer 21 points of necrotic damage. That's going to be it for their turn. However, you do see another creature, or maybe it was the same creature as before, appear in this corner of the room. Let me put that one back where it was. And it is, at this moment, Baranor's turn.
All right. I'm going to... So this one's here and this one's... Okay. I'm going to move over here. And I'm going to hit the thing with a psychic knife.
All right.
Soul knife. That's what it... I don't know if a 13 hits, though.
A 13 does actually hit.
Oh, okay.
They move slow. They move rather slowly, unless they're rushing at you.
All right. So that does 6 psychic damage.
Okay.
And nothing much on your end, but it will have the Vex condition for the next time I'm attacking.
Okay.
Next. I guess, well, you could put the Vex on that one. I don't know if that matters. If you're going to be phasing things in.
I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do it.
That just
I
means...
can copy and paste.
That just means if I attack that one,
Yeah.
I get advantage on the next attack toward it.
Well, now you know which one it is.
Okay. And then I will bonus action disengage
Yeah,
Okay.
I had Vex on the other one too.
and move over here.
For what that's worth.
Oh, you did? Okay. I will remember that. I think didn't I put something on it?
Nope.
But
I think it's banged.
Yeah, it's baned. That's that, right?
No, this is different.
Yeah.
This is my weapon mastery.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me put a Vex on it. Okay, now it has 2 things. Okay. All right.
And that's my turn. I am done.
All right. The Mellish brothers both throw daggers and move up and sword themselves at this thing. And you notice their weapons go clean through it. Amos throws a dagger that kind of sticks hard on the wall behind it. And Amos swings his little short swords to no effect, or at least not as much as you'd expect. And they kind of shout back at the group. Baranor, you understand them to say, magic weapons only.
Or silvered. I'll reply back in Dwarven.
No.
No?
You can say that, but
Okay.
you can say that, but that's not
It
true.
may not be true.
It's not
Well,
true.
from my
You can say it
experience.
though. I think everyone's just going to collectively say, "Who the hell has a silver weapon?" I don't. Says the entire group.
I think Baranor actually does have a silvered weapon.
Yeah, you'd be the only one. At least one of your daggers is silvered.
Yeah, this
For sure. The stiletto? Stiletto is just mastercrafted, but it's not made of silver.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't have it.
They, the Mellish twins just kind of give you a thumbs up.
Right.
Koza, you are next, my friend.
Okay, let's see. Next to all these guys. Come on. Oh, my computer work. Can everybody hear me okay? I switched over to my earbuds.
Yeah,
No,
we
you're
got you.
fine.
Okay, good. Do I still have my Moonglaive, out
Of course.
as a zombie? Okay, then I'm gonna just use that to slash this ghostly figure next to me.
I need to see something about seeming real fast. So it's kind of like, pulling a book off his hip that wasn't there. You just kind of reach behind your back and like apparate your moonglaive. But I want to make sure you guys haven't dropped your seeming with an attack.
Oh,
I don't think that's how it works.
It's only with invisibility.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I'm just gonna go ahead. Whatever you want to do. I'm just gonna read this.
Okay. Let's see. Why did it roll all of the dice?
Yeah, it lasts for the spell lasts for the duration unless you use your action to dismiss it sooner, and it lasts for 8 hours. So you guys are a bunch of fighting zombies.
Okay, so we're gonna use that first roll.
Yeah,
it's 23, and he
That's
does
fine.
9 points of slashing. And I can't remember, is my moonglaive enchanted or not? I don't think so.
It's moon touched.
Okay.
It's definitely moon touched. So I would say yes. It is a magic
Does
weapon.
that do any radiant damage, or does that just have slashing damage? Okay.
Yeah. No. It doesn't add radiant damage. It just makes it a magic weapon. And you definitely feel yourself grab this ghost with the moonglaves like you're passing it through a melon. It's got some resistance as you slash through it, and you watch its ethereal energy erupt from its new wound and drops its lower half, if it ever had one, and spawns kind of a new gecko tail regrown sort of a thing, and begins to hover higher into the room above you.
Well, as a bonus action, I'm going to summon my spiritual weapon.
Okie dokie. Can you get that out?
We'll see.
Well, here you go. Put that where you want it. And
We'll put it right here so it's blanket.
so Reaper on... Is that your turn? I'm sorry. I keep doing that.
No, it does get an attack.
Okay. Go for it.
Okay, so this would be advantage because I'm flanking him.
Definitely. With yourself. Stop flanking with yourself. You'll go blind.
Why didn't I roll that with advantage? That's weird. Anyway.
God, did silvered weapons just not carry over into 2024?
That's not much better. Okay, that's my turn.
What silvered weapons are you talking about?
In the old 2014 basic rules, the silvered weapons could they would overcome an immunity to or resistance to non-magical weapons.
Yes, that is true.
But that was 2014.
They are...
I don't see it anywhere in 2024. That's weird.
I don't see anything about silvered weapons in Roll20's rules for a ghost. You're welcome to look it up, but it's got resistances.
I believe you. I just don't think it carried over to.
Yeah, I don't ever remember that being a thing with silver weapons. So I just didn't play that edition, I think.
So in the 2014 rules, their damage resistance was they were resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical weapons, which the silvered weapons would negate that resistance.
Okay,
but that was 2014.
I guess
apparently it doesn't exist anymore. So never mind.
I don't think it's like, I don't think that's a thing unless you specifically get something enchanted to include that language. Like if you get Fodal enchant a dagger, we could make that work. But I don't think that's how it works anymore.
It's not in 2024 at all. Like even werewolves used to have a resistance or have like a weakness to silvered weapons, and that's
stupid.
Yeah,
I mean that's not a werewolf then. That's just a wolf man.
I know, but just as an example.
Yeah, that's.
But that verbiage is no longer in any of the 2024 language.
Well, my werewolves are vulnerable against silver. Damn it.
Fair enough.
So,
Ignore me.
If you encounter a werewolf tonight, you're fighting ghosts, not completely out of the.
Again, you're right. Nobody has silver weapons, so it's a moot point anyway.
I am a silver weapon.
That was a good one.
That was slick.
That was good. 2 thumbs up.
Thank you.
You know what? Kervish, you get inspiration for yourself and someone else.
Okay, then. I will give it to Koza.
You both get advantage on your next roll. All right, Koza, are you? Yeah, you did some damage to it. You really grabbed it with that scythe, your moon scythe. If you're not going to move, is that your turn?
Yeah, that's
it. All right, Iona, you are next with Reaper after you. And at the end of Koza's turn, you will see yet another creature emerge from the corner of the room over here. And it does not have Bane, because it was not here when you chose that. Right? Neither was this one? I gotta take Bane off this guy, too. Okay. Iona, what do you do?
I'm just going to move up to this one. Bonus action to unsheath my sunblade, and then action to swing it.
All right.
I'm going to get the extra damage because this is an undead.
Indeed it is.
Okay, so that's a 20. Either way you slice it. I'm guessing a 20 hit.
Oh, yeah. You get the feeling that's way more than you needed. Your sunblade effortlessly cuts this thing up.
It was meant to do extra damage, but I don't think it's actually done it, so I'll do that separate.
That's fine.
Okay, so that's going to be a D8.
All right.
Of radiant damage. So.
Reaper.
So it's 9.
At this distance from where Iona is, you see her pull this very bright sword out, and as she strikes this ghost, at this distance from where you are, you can see blinding light.
Okay.
And I'm only bringing that to your attention because you're the furthest away from the action.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really lit up the house. I'm going to say spins around.
15 feet.
Okay. Is it? Feet. Well, that's about how far away. But it's not like it's dim and dark 20 feet away. I mean, it lit up the whole room.
It's bright light in 15-foot radius, dim light for an additional 15 feet.
Yeah. So you lit up the whole house.
Gondor or anything.
Yeah. So Yuno's going to spin around and kind of look at everyone and go, "That light's down." Oh, I didn't put Azia on this map. What the hell is wrong with me?
We're having a time today, ain't we?
Cleric great to have in this situation.
Yeah. Let me put her on and put her in the order, give her a turn, and she's going to do what clerics do best, of course.
Beat the crap out of people.
No, she's going to turn undead.
Yeah.
That's what she's going to do. Okay. Let me just read the actual rules of turn undead and where she is. It's not infinite. And a ghost is definitely not a half challenge, so that doesn't apply.
So they're not just going to pull up.
No, but it is cool. Turn undead. Where did it go? There we go. Okay. Jeez. It's 5 feet away? No, that's not right. Oh, sorry, folks.
Oh, you're good.
That's destroy undead. That would be dope.
I'm just admiring the jack-o'-lantern on the porch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. It doesn't show turn undead. It says just starts off with destroy undead at 5th level. Which she has. Fuck it.
I mean, I've got my turn undead on my character sheet if you'd like.
She's
me to
gonna
go
do
into
it. She's gonna do it. How far away? There we go. Damn. Why is it 4 buttons deep to get to turn undead? I don't get it. 30 feet away. Holy crap. We made it, folks. Jesus. That's gonna catch, not him. And that's gonna catch him, though. So these two guys gotta make a wisdom saving throw, which they're really, really, really wise. That's a 15, and that's more. That's a 19. The 19 passes. The other one is destroyed. So this guy goes bye-bye. Did he go bye-bye? Nope. He just went outside. Okay.
Okay, lady, I love you. Bye-bye.
All right. Is that even her action? It is an action. Okay, so for a bonus action, she's going to summon her spiritual weapon. She's going to augment it to look like burnished and dark, not real shiny. And she's going to put it over here and bonk that guy on the head. That's not very good. That's only an 11. Okay. That is Azia's turn. Where she needs to be is let's see. Iona, have you fully done your attack yet? Or your action? Your action. Okay. Reaper, you are next, but I'm gonna put Azia at the end of the turn order. Yeah.
I would like to very quietly cast Frostbite on the guy top.
Oh.
Okay. Is that an attack or is that a save?
The con save.
Mm-hmm. Straight roll. 7.
Nope. Okay, so...
Grab your parka.
13 points of frost damage or cold damage.
13 points of cold damage. You got it.
There's
And
side
that'll
effects
be...
to that, right? Yeah.
That's a pretty quiet spell, so I'm not going to make you roll stealth. Is that a verbal spell as well?
Yeah, it says verbal and somatic. I've looked at all
okay.
of my spells. All of them have verbal.
Well, let's get another stealth roll from you then.
It has disadvantage on the next weapon attack roll it makes before
Got it.
the end of its next.
Well, he's not actually carrying anything in his clawed hands.
Yeah. And
I'm going to say that this is a ghost that has a ghosty, scary-looking child girl's face.
I love that. I got 10.
Ian. All right. So, backed up against here, you find yourself kind of looking left to right, and as you fire off your frostbite, more concentrated on hitting the damn thing, you kind of squeaked it out a little louder than you intended, and you look over your shoulder after the attack lands, and there is a skeleton in this part of the courtyard, walking in this direction very slowly. And it's not one of you guys. Does that end your turn?
Nuggets.
Yeah, that'll end my turn.
All right. Is also, let me see. Is there a wizard spell that doesn't require components? Yeah, he's got air bubble. I don't think that'll help. Ooh. Let's see here. Hold on. I may have something. Willing creatures. Never mind. Would that work? One creature of your choice that isn't hostile. Damn. None of these really would work. And he doesn't have that. Damn. I'm trying here. Thunderclap is probably a bad idea.
Probably.
Okay, hold on. I know he's got one spell that he would never, ever use unless he had to not make noise. All right, he's gonna cast True Strike, the worst wizard spell ever. And his next attack will have advantage. Yay! I feel Kenny's wrath as he's fuming at my decisions. But that's going to be his turn. He's going to try to pull this baned ghost. He's going to get a natural 1. He is pulled through Azia's. Actually, he's going to push him away on the other side of Iona. And I believe that does not give an opportunity of attack. I think we've been through that. So that is Yuno's turn. So Yuno has the whole advantage disadvantage thing going because he's got blur on him and he's also got True Strike.
Yeah.
Oh wait, True Strike is concentration. He can't do that. He'll drop blur.
God,
oh dear,
really an awful fucking spell.
I gotta back it up.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
This is why True Strike is
terrible.
what it is. Yeah.
Terrible. Hypnotic pattern, is that make noise? I don't think so. He's going to do that, and he's going to make it all black panes of glass in front of this. Oh, shit. How is that concentration? How is that possible? That's concentration. What a bummer. Oh my god, every single 4th level spell has got verbal.
It is True Strike concentration?
Yeah. I was just looking it up.
Well,
yeah, he's kind of SOL.
It's only concentration in the 2014 rules. In the 2024 rules, it is not concentration.
Okay, then he's going to do True Strike. Jesus Christ. All right.
Someone can verify that, but I'm not seeing concentration on the little thing. It just says instantaneous.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll take it. It is the ghost's turn. You see a creature come up through the stairs right next to Reaper. You also see this guy who has 2 conditions on him waft up through the floor and wind up right next to Azia and Koza. And the one next to Koza is going to strike Koza.
So True Strike in 2024 does something different, it looks like.
Is that so?
Guided by a flash of magical insight, you make 1 attack with the weapon using the spell's casting. The attack uses your spellcasting ability for the attack, and damage rolls instead of using Dex or Strength. If the attack deals damage, it can be radiant or the weapon's normal damage type. That sounds like you make an instantaneous attack with it now.
I'm gonna call this episode I don't know how to play D&D.
or new rules are hard.
It's stupid too because a True Strike is a wizard spell, but he doesn't use a weapon.
Eldritch Knight.
It just says first attack roll. Okay, so whatever. I guess that's a problem for future, Okay, enough. The ghosts are going to attack people.
Okay.
All right. The ghost is going to try to wither you away, Koza, that's real good. That's a 23. You are going to... Yeah, that's what I thought. Suffer... Ooh, low. 18 points of necrotic damage as this thing laces back into you. I think you're the one that it hit, right, before?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one right here, Reaper, is going to attack you. Is there anything you can do in a reaction? Otherwise, I'm going to roll.
Just roll, you're good.
Okay. That's a 15.
That doesn't hit.
Does not hit. This one here is going to move away from your spirit or Azia's spiritual weapon, and I guess run up on. Where is Iona? Iona's right there. Iona, yeah. These two are going to both gang up on you, and each take an attack strike against you with their withering grasp. That's a natural 1. The other one, however, gets a 21.
Definitely hit.
All right. That's 24 points of necrotic damage as they seep into your flesh, and you feel your life energy being drawn out as if they were drinking you through a straw. That's going to end their turn for now, though. Kravish, you are next. Baranor is up after that.
Hey. Flitty fairies.
Yeah. I need you to make a stealth check, as your flitty fairies are very bright.
It doesn't really say in the rules as far as any kind of light emanation. It just says spirits surround me.
Yeah,
Protecting
okay.
spirit flit around you in a 15-foot emanation.
I'm going to make a ruling and say they do. That they are definitely visible.
Like, if my Sunblade does it, I think Spirit Guardian does it.
Everyone knows fairies glow, Kravish.
All right. All right, I'm going to cast it. I'm going to upcast it at 5th level.
And you get all 3 of those guys.
Yep, and that's a DC 17.
Okay. Let me look this up. I get a +1 to wisdom. It's not that bad. Okay. That is, one of them gets a 4. One of them gets a natural 20. One of them gets a 16. Go ahead and roll that damage.
Already did. 27.
27. This one here disappears.
Yeah, and the ones that are... Well, Bane only counts towards attack rolls, right? It doesn't count towards saving throws?
I don't think it's saving throws.
Attack roll or saving throw.
Oh, there we go.
Saving throw.
Okay, let me minus a d4. Well, the one he got a natural 20, so I'd have to roll a 4 because I'm going to be cool and not say a natural 20 auto passes because that's not in the rules. I have to get a 4 though. Nope, he passes. Okay, heavy damage. They're going to use Ethereal Mind Sight as a reaction. They are going to require opportunity of attacks from everyone they ran away from. That's Iona. That's Kravish. No, that's Koza, and that's Azia. So let's have some attack rolls from y'all as they get outside that distance. Azia got a 15, which hits with her cat's paw staff.
Guessing a 19 also hit.
19 damage from Azia. Still all right. All right, 8 points of damage from Iona. Okay.
It's not done the damage properly again. Sorry, one second.
Uh-oh.
Just I've got to fix that. It's something plus 8 points of damage.
Oh yeah. It just try rolling it again. It just didn't take right.
Yeah, that 8 is the extra radiant when it's up against undead. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, so 10 plus 8. There we go.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, Kravish, what else you doing?
All right, and so for my bonus action, I am going to cast a 3rd level healing word on Koza since they've just been kind of wailing on him for a while.
Okay. Let me see how far he can actually get. Yeah, he's going to get farther than that.
That's 18 points for Koza.
Thank you, sir.
Y'all.
Okay. Much better.
And
You
now
just negated my last attack.
And now I'm going to move. I still have movement. 15 feet. Well, that's
Oops.
5, 10,
Yeah.
15. Catch that guy.
That's an 11.
Oh, re-roll radiant damage for him. 21 points.
All right. 21 points. Yeah, he starts fizzling. And if you're gonna move, I'm gonna have you roll another stealth check if you're getting closer to the windows. And I'm gonna let you know that the DC's going up. You guys are making a commotion in here, much to Yuno's chagrin.
21.
All right, good enough. Yeah, you're able to kind of stay low and keep the flitty fairies from making too much of a racket. All right. Is that your turn?
That is my turn.
All right. Baranor, we will go with your turn after we take a little break, which we will do right now. So you have about 15 minutes to really lock in what it is you want to do.
Okay.
We will meet back here at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Is this one the one I vexed earlier? Or
Yes.
Vex?
No, it's both of you.
Okay. Because if
Both
Kirby's
of you.
didn't attack that one, the vex goes off for him.
Yeah,
Okay.
the creature Ivex would have gone because it only lasts till the end of my next turn. So it,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. Cool.
Gotcha. Okie doke. Yep, we will take 15 and we'll call it at 4:30 and we'll see you back here to finish this out.
All right, cool.
All right.
Alrighty.
See ya.
See ya.
Okay.
Hi.
I hear Ellie. Noah will be on in just a moment. Baranor, you're muted and you're next.
I'm here.
All right.
Alright. Okay. I'm gonna move over to this guy, and using the vex, I'm gonna hit him with my psychic, my soul knife,
Okay.
and it's going to be at advantage.
Just got to beat an 11. They're pretty easy to hit.
Yeah.
Famous last word.
What?
Last word.
Oh yes. Okay.
Stone knife.
Oh, so close. Okay. I assume a 29 hits.
Assume away.
All right. 9 psychic, and then sneak attack, which should also be psychic as well. I think that's how that works. 12 more. So 21 points of damage.
21 points of damage.
And he's
Yeah, you
still-
slash at this thing, and it backs him away immediately. And as you look him in the eyes, you see the sunken, just like weird pale points of light start to flicker a little and narrow in on you, and you see what used to be like this horrible sadness visage has been twisted into fear, and it backs and recoils away from you.
Okay. Because I hit it, it's still vexed. And then I will bonus action disengage and move back to here.
All right.
That is my turn.
The Mellish brothers are going to... I'm going to split them up, and since they look almost identical, I'm just going to dupe the mini.
Yeah.
And they're going to take off in this direction. One of them is. The other one's going to go in this direction. And Marcus is going to throw 2 daggers at this guy right here. So that is a... that's not good, but he beat an 11, so he hit with 1, and that definitely hits with that one. Let's roll some damage. 12 on one hit, 18 on another, for a total of 30 points of damage. And with that, this ghost disappears. Yay, Mellish brothers. That is going to be his turn. This one
Am
is
I
going
gone
to
from
just.
the turnover? Sorry, I think
No,
I'm
you're-
gone from the turnover.
You're 12.
Yeah, the. Oh,
Let me
right,
see
because the
something.
turn order's gone a bit weird.
No, I fixed it. Yeah, it's Koza, then you. After Amos goes. Amos is going to back up here. He's going to do a stealth check to hide. Sinking into the shadows, he pulls out a wrist crossbow and fires it at this enveloped in Kravish's Flitty Fairy's ghost over there. And yeah, that's a 27 to hit. He hits that guy for 14 points of piercing damage. Koza, you are next with Iona on deck.
Okay. Let's see. My computer is being very slow today. Okay. I am going to move my spiritual weapon. Let's see, can I make it? I probably can. Yeah. I'm going to move my spiritual weapon through this ghost and attack it.
All right.
So that's +3.
So your spiritual weapon, I'm guessing, glows.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure it does.
A floating
spiritual
spectral
guard-
weapon within range.
Yeah, there
Doesn't
you
say
go.
anything about.
Oh. Spectral.
The same thing about my
Okay.
spirit guardians too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spirit Guardian's spiritual weapon. Roll
Well,
stealth.
then how much light would it? Okay. Still. Why am I normal? Jesus. Hey, I got a natural 20 now.
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely we're able to do that on
We'll
the
say
fly.
with a
You have-
natural 20, I wanted to teleport.
yeah, sure.
Just
You're able to channel a surge of transportation energy and blink it out of existence while it moves through the ethereal plane towards the ghost, slashing it when it gets there.
yeah. So it's 3 plus whatever this is. Damn.
9. Yep. I'll just say it just teleports over there and doesn't really do much after that.
Okay. That
Oh, who's that?
we'll say. Do I have?
But you moved it. You
Doesn't
moved it
have-
without alerting anybody, which
Yeah.
I'm in the process of dropping some people. This would definitely be a great arc for October. All right, is that all you're doing, Koza?
Make a lot of noise. Yeah, I guess so.
I'm sorry.
I don't really have anything that doesn't make a whole lot of noise.
You sound so defeated.
It's whatever.
It is whatever. It's whatever.
It is what it is, and it ain't great.
It is what it
It
is.
is what it is, and it ain't great.
So, no movement from Koza. You're good. Does that end your turn?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of good where I am.
Well, all right.
That'll have my turn.
Okay. Iona, you are next.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be honest, this ghost is glowing. The spirit weapon is also glowing. Can I risk? The thing is, if I get closer, then the light from my sword is going to spill over into, potentially beyond here. Oh, actually, it won't. 30 feet away, it won't. Versus the fact that basically all my spells have verbal components. So, to be honest, I might as well just get up and slash it. Because at least that's quiet.
Flash it. I didn't know we were playing that kind of campaign.
Did you say slash or flash?
I said slash.
That's what I thought.
Okay. My bad.
The party has a dirty mind.
Yeah, that was, I have to say, that's definitely your way of thinking, not like a way of saying it. I don't think that's my accent. I'll acknowledge any person with a British accent. But
No.
I don't think that's the accent in this case.
So you slash at them with your dagger. Is it charged? I don't know that a ghost has any. I think it.
No,
it's immune.
Don't take poison, but
It's immune to poison damage, and you know that. I feel like it's a witchy thing to know.
Yeah, I mean, I probably have like a list in my head of. Obviously, I didn't know for certain months, but I feel like I have a list in my head of like the most common things which poison doesn't work, just as a sort of like list of things the Talentar hate. Because if you're not vulnerable to poison damage, what even is the point of you?
What is life?
Yeah.
All right.
And right.
But it's a magical weapon, is it not? No, it's just a regular dagger,
no,
isn't
it's not. That's why I'm sunblading it. I'm sunblading it.
Gotcha.
Because the radiance is still just within the it's gonna stay within the building even if I get that close. I check the distance.
You're good. You're good. Because there is zero. You take a quick glance out the windows at the end of the hall here. There's zero activity in this direction. So nothing out there to see it.
17.
That hits.
And then I'll get my...
For sure.
Okay, 20.
20. All right. This one
And
that you just hit, you just cleave it in half with your sunblade, and both of its halves sort of wither away or wriggle away like you cut a worm in half. And the lower half dissipates into flaky, ethereal little nuggets, and the top half just sort of wafts, this torso just sort of hanging over you, just all arms and shoulders and gaping head.
Gross. She doesn't say that, but gross.
All right. Is that your turn?
Yeah, I think so. I have a bonus action, but I think I had a thing I could do, but I think I'll save it.
Okay. All right. Well, Azia is... What is Azia going to do? She's got the same problem that all of her spells pretty much all have verbal. So she's just going to, she's going to hit it. And hopefully make less noise. She's gonna go melee this round. I'm guessing she's okay to dive into your flitty fairies, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe she has the distance. Yep, she can get there. She's gonna whack it. You all watch her leap into the air like a monk and swing this quarterstaff tipped with a wooden cat's paw at the end of it. And she's going to just bring it around, flip it across over her head, and bring it down on this ghost ethereal skull. And that's going to be a 19 to hit, which hits. And she is definitely going to do wicked damage to this thing. It's 12 points of damage. It's not out, but she just bashes. She dashes it to the ground, and you see the ghost kind of hover over the floor a couple inches before rising again. Now even more angered than before. This young girl's twisted ghost-like face, like these big white eyes and sunken in and stretched hateful lines across the face, jaw way elongated, and try to get away from Azia. It looks like it's going to recoil a little further up these stairs. But Reaper, before it can, it is your turn.
Excuse me. Literally every single one of my spells has verbal components. I think there's one that doesn't, but it's completely ineffective. So she's just going to whisper vampiric touch to the one that's next to her.
whisper. Go ahead and make a stealth check.
Stealth check. That was the wrong one. There we go. 15.
15. Good enough. You're able to sort of you draw your forearm and your elbow into the crick. You press your mouth into the crick of your elbow, and a little like Dracula, you muffle your speech as you whisper your vampiric touch.
It's a dirty 20.
That hits.
And 20 points of necrotic damage.
20. Let me see something. Yep. That was a, what kind of attack was that? What was with your vampiric touch? You actually reach out to it, and nothing gets drawn into your essence. Like you would draw out, vitality. There's no vitality to draw, and your hand feels empty and cold.
Great. Lovely.
Has no effect.
And that's my turn.
Okay. It is Yuno's turn. He is going to have advantage on... Well, you know what? There's nothing he can do that won't make noise, so he is just going to hide behind Baranor and keep his back to Baranor and watch this wall. And if anything rises out of the room, he's just going to stab it with his cool dagger. That's kind of all he can do, really. So he's going to hold an attack action. It is the ghost's turn.
Roll that wisdom save.
This guy's going to roll a wisdom save, take the damage, and immediately move towards you. So let's roll. Oops. 18. It's pretty high.
He passes the wisdom save, so he only takes half.
Okay.
So 8.
8. He wafts through Azia. You watch Azia kind of go stock still for a moment as this ghost kind of apparates through her and reaching towards you. You see him fizzling away from the attacks of your spirit guardians, and as he gets closer and closer to you, you see him kind of dissolve, but not before he's able to grasp you around the flesh of your cheeks and sink its talons into your face and hit you with his withering touch. It's a 22. Did you want to react to that? Okay. That one's not much worse. That was a 19.
That is my AC.
All right. Good try.
Mm-hmm.
Good. All right. And so it, you feel this cold sensation as this dark energy seeps into the wounds of this thing's fingers. It's almost like it's very ethereal and translucent, but as it gets towards its fingers where it's concentrating its hateful energy, it starts to solidify and corporealize into these really deep-seated claws into your face for 21 points of necrotic damage.
Yeah, that's going to leave a mark.
I need you to make a con save for your concentration.
Okay.
So 10 or 7, whatever is greater. Or no, 10 or... what's half? 11? Yeah.
The way I missed it, so the Fleeting Fairy is going to...
Yep. All right. Real sorry to see him go.
Oops.
So he is up in your grill. He turned off your things, which means I will now not make you roll a stealth check because you're considerably dimmer. However, sometimes the quick absence of light can attract attention. So this guy right here, this just bare bones skeleton, is going to make a little check. And he's not going to do too well. So he's going to continue walking along here and hit this wall. And he's going to turn a direction next round. This guy here is going to move down here. And you watch this ghost, Iona, dive into your body. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, 18.
Yep. So as this creature inhabits your space and you feel its essence icicleize your whole body feels cold and stiff as if come in from a blizzardy storm. You feel it start to creep into your mind. You see a brief memory of looking up at a wood ceiling with somebody crouching over you, dripping with saliva and malice in their eyes, holding you down with one hand with a dagger high above their head and jamming it into your chest, and the memory fades and you push this entity out of your mind and it occupies 5 feet in front of you. You take no damage and you are not possessed.
Yay.
That's going to end the undead's turn. Kravish, you are next.
I am next.
You are next.
All right. I'm going to try a slightly different deck. I am going, well, can I? Well, it hadn't worked before. Doesn't mean it can't. I am going to, as this thing is like grappled onto me, I'm going to reach in my bag to grab my little ziggurat model, and I am going to quietly cast tongues.
Okay. Go ahead and make a stealth check quietly.
Whisper the words instead.
Let me look up something.
It's an 11 for what that's worth.
Okay. All right. What does tongues actually do? Does it just make it magically understand people, or does it make you understand what they, like a full understanding of what they can say, like detect their language perhaps?
Both ways. I can understand any. The spell grants the creature that you touch, which is me, the ability to understand any spoken or sign language that it hears or sees. Moreover, when the target communicates by speaking or signing, any creature that knows at least one language can understand it if that creature can hear the speech or see the signing.
Okay, got it.
So after I cast that, I'm looking at it as like, why do you fight us? What binds you here?
I need you to make a perception check, a persuasion check.
30-20.
Okay. It seems to understand. Like, as soon as you speak to it, it wears like an ethereal hood that sort of phases in and out of existence, as does the skeletal version of its face phases in and out of view with its spectral fleshy face. And as soon as you speak to it in that way, it snaps its head at you. That hood above it, that Grim Reaper-like remnant, sort of shrouds over, and it snaps at you, and you see it crick its head like a dog, and listening to what you're saying, and you just hear it go, "You kill us."
Okay. That's probably all we can get in one combat round, right?
Yeah, real quick sentences being shouted are free actions, but you start having a conversation and
okay. But the other people can hear this. Okay.
But I'm going to say this, with a 20 persuasion and the fact that now you know can understand you, I'm going to say that you have halted its hostility, and you can, with a 20 perception or persuasion, you at least got its attention and interrupting its hostility towards the three of you.
So while
you're not sure about anybody else,
I'll hold my hand out as when he talks to me, and I get that impression that he's kind of like going from red to yellow alert. I kind of put some hands out, like saying, "Whoa, we may have a breakthrough here."
Well, you can say that on your next turn.
Sure, but just have my hands out.
Yeah, sure.
I just pause. Okay.
I'm going to say that Azia and Reaper are definitely looking at you. I'm not sure about anybody else.
That's fine.
Baranor, what you got?
All right. I'm going to here. Sorry, and stab this one with a soul knife.
Okay.
It's a flat roll because I don't have advantage on this one.
21 hits.
All right, 10 psychic, and because I'm ally within 5 feet, I get sneak attack for another 18, so 28 damage.
Yeah. How do you want to do this? How do you want to do this, Baranor?
What's that?
I said, how do you want to do this, Baranor?
I want to, kind of do like a guitar slide underneath the spiritual weapon and come up on the other side and just materialize the psychic dagger into my hand and just go straight up through its form.
Ooh. Yeah, you all watch Baranor sort of parkour his way, dipping and diving between Iona, sliding underneath the spinning blade, Indiana Jones style of Koza's spiritual weapon. You pop up, rising like Hadouken through Shoryuken through the ghost form with your soul knife, which kind of evenly slices it like a tattered old ribbon, and the ghost form splits in half, shimmering to the ground and disappearing. Let's see, how far away is that? 45 feet. I'm gonna see if he sees that. Does the ghost see that? Not really. Natural 5. I'm gonna say no. So no reaction from that guy.
That is my turn.
Okay, that ends your turn. It is the Mellish brothers. They are going to converge and become 2 people in the same spot and back up Kravish and just hold an action, both of them. Holding a melee action. Yeah, what the hell? He'll sidle up next to you. Koza, what you doing?
I am going to. I don't think my spiritual weapon can make it over there, can it? No. But I can, so I'm gonna move.
Can you now?
Yeah. If I move here, can I still attack the ghost? Am I still in melee range?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm gonna move there and do that.
All right. Before you attack it, I need you to make just give me a general intelligence saving throw.
Oh boy.
Just roll a dice, tell me the number for no reason.
Okay.
23.
I'm going to say you saw Kravish put his hand up, and you interpreted that as at least hold up for just a half a second. Like, hey, check this out. Not really in order to stand down. Yeah, 23 on intelligence save. Yeah, you got that.
I clocked that shit.
You clocked that. So you can hold an action to strike it. I'll allow that. The Mellish brothers are doing that. Or you can just say, I'm going to attack this until it's no longer hostile, and make your own choice. What you want to do?
No, I'll hold off. I'll hold my action. I'll hold an attack.
Okay. Iona, you and Baranor are alone with Koza's spiritual weapon. What would you like to do?
I am going to use my action to reduce the light from my sunblade by 5 feet. So now it's going to be 10 feet of bright light and another 10 foot of dim.
Uh-huh.
And then, I'm not going to be able to get all the way over there, but I can get most of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to get most of the way.
Well, as you are moving through the house, I need you to make a stealth check to make sure you don't attract any attention, as there's a skeleton looking around outside, followed by, these guys are all moving together as a group, and they don't appear to be looking in the windows. They're just moving along.
Just taking a casual evening stroll.
Yeah. weapons and magic out, and the skeletons have weapons. Some of the skeletons have armor.
Okay, well,
15.
that was a 15, and I did at least try to make myself stealthier. It was a question of whether it worked.
Well, as you move forward, you kind of don't sheath your sunblade, but I'll say you wrap it within your robe so it's easily swingable, but you kind of dampen that brightness. Unfortunately, you step on a real weak board and your foot goes through, and everyone kind of spins at you, and you watch as this skeleton, I'm going to have him turn towards the house. He's not going to move forward. So I'll give everybody, since we're kind of out of combat, I'm going to give everybody a chance to make a reaction right now, what you'd like to do. I will say that Koza, from its angle, this whole line of people are visible through that window. I'll say the window is 4 feet high from the floor, and about 4 feet tall, maybe 2 feet wide. And let's go right through that. Let's start with Iona. What are you doing in this moment?
Based on the way my companions look, do I think that we could pass as just zombies if we just hid all our weapons?
Make an insight check. The Mellish brothers are going to drop, since they do not look like zombies. They're going to drop quietly, even with the ground. They're only about maybe a foot and a half tall right now as they crouch and squat. So you feel pretty good that you still look undead. You're not sure how everyone will pass now that there is, you guys are sweating from having been moving a lot, and you can, everyone has like kind of a musk to them now, which isn't really the way undead smells, but you're not sure if it's going to be enough to give your cover away.
I mean, I can try, so I will feed my sunblade just in case. And
your sunblade disappears.
Going to stand there doing my best. Like, I look undead, so I just have to stand there and not really do anything.
Okay. All right. The Mellish brothers are dropping and becoming very, very quiet and dark and still. Krivish and Koza, what are you two doing?
I am looking at I'm looking at the ghost, and I'm saying, they killed you, not us. Make sure we we can talk further.
Ooh, roll a high persuasion and also a stealth for me.
Okay. I'm going to use that heroic inspiration and roll this persuasion at advantage.
Ooh, good.
Solid decision, yes.
Ooh.
1.
Yeah. Not that you needed it, but a 21 backup ain't bad. Okay. So you see that this creature was beginning to raise its hands, ready to dive at you again, completely not trusting you, no matter the fact that you're telling it to stand down. It's a ghost. It's angry. It doesn't understand reality as reality. It doesn't completely understand what you're saying and know its meaning. It's a withered soul. And just as it is ready to dive its hands at you again, you kind of crouch down and stage whisper at it so weirdly that it stops at mid-moment again. And at this moment, it kind of lowers its hands, and you see those horrid, ghastly, ghost-like features of its face sort of shrink and soften gently a little bit, not completely. It still has sagging jaw and ghost-like white eyes, but it's a little less ugly looking.
All right.
And Koza, what are you doing?
I am going to put away my moonblade and just sort of go back to acting like a zombie, I guess.
All right. Go ahead and make a stealth check at advantage. Since you are still looking undead, but not moving anymore. The fact that you look undead It's pretty convincing.
Yeah. All right. Dirty
20. So you watch this skeleton move forward completely flush with the window. And it looks like it's peering inside. And you kind of like, you do your best to like look at it, but not look at it. Like try to stare through it, but keep an eye on it. And you do your very best to waver slowly and kind of just be zombie-like as best you can. And this skeleton just looks at you with this vacant expression. No, it has no lower jaw. It's just a skeleton. It's carrying a pretty decent-looking axe, but it's just leaning against the window, just staring vacantly inside here. So I need Reaper, Azia to make a stealth check. Baranor, you too, because it's looking right in this room and can see that spiritual weapon, or is at least looking at it. So Baranor, Azia, and Reaper, go ahead and give me stealth checks, or do something so that you don't need to roll that. You know. Ooh, Azia got a natural 20. She is invisible, and you all realize it's because her black fur. She took off her clothes.
Oh no.
So there is somewhere, and you know what? I'm going to take her off the map because you don't see her. She's gone. And you just see yellow robes on the field, and know that somewhere there is a naked tabaxi.
Would it be considered like dim light?
No, it's dark in here.
Okay,
it's dark.
Perfect.
That's why you guys are rolling stealth checks like this and not just being seen. Yeah, Koza, I will say that your 19 stealth, that's fine. Mm-hmm. I'll say, Koza, you know that your weapon is now pretty much useless and very, very bright for darkness. So I'm going to say that this guy right here rolls a persuasion check to see if he sees your weapon. But you guys are out of combat, so you can do with it whenever you want. Ooh, not good. He was not looking in that direction at the moment. What would you like to do?
I'd say I throw my weapon away, but that would also I guess I'll just put it on the floor and like throw my cloak over it.
Okay. Make an athletics check. See if you make it. That's all. You're throwing your cloak. That's gonna be a 45-foot throw.
Oh, didn't need to roll that revenge.
Oh no!
Shit.
So you throw your cloak on Kravish. You all watch Koza trying to be cool and pull his giant cloak out of his skeletal frame because he looks like a skeleton, and pull this fur coat out and just throw it on Kravish for no reason.
I just roll with it. I'm like, looking around, trying to.
The skeleton shifts its gaze towards the four of you, or five of you rather, and without seeing this glowing weapon that is now flush with the ground and covered by debris a little, it turns around, loses interest, and walks away. You watch this group of undead. Now, I'm gonna say that's all that happens. There is a ghost in this room that is apparently not interesting enough for the skeleton to investigate. And it stands there, its features slowly softening until it resembles that of what looks like maybe like a 40 or 50-year-old half-elven man with sort of like a black, wide mustache and sort of like a little soul patch, long black hair. It looks like he's wearing like a night shirt with loose-fitting cotton kind of pants, and sort of like an apron underneath it. And it just sort of like he materializes and grows slightly shorter to, what his height might have been. And he just stands there. His chest is soaked in blood. You see 3 very deep kind of wounds that are like billowing blood, even though it's not dripping. It just looks like it keeps flowing out of his chest. And he just stands there. His eyes are black with deep circles under them. And he just stands there and right now, he's probably looking at Kervish, and he just has his hands up as if, why, like a kind of like a why.
All right.
And he just stares at you, and his mouth is agape.
All right. So I'll take Koza's cloak off my face now that they've parted on. I'm like, you drop something slick, and hand it back to him. I look over at him and as like, we're in disguise.
He just doesn't really respond to that.
Okay.
And
you're not the undead.
All right. So you're kind of sure that this thing spoke common.
Okay.
Just based on how it's reacting to you and the fact that it's muttering things that you can understand.
Yeah, sure.
So you get the
feeling common.
Yeah, and he just kind of gives you a look of, quiet understanding and disregarding, like, I don't care. Why? That there's that despair and sadness and confusion on his face as he grasps his chest, and you just see blood pouring through his fingers.
What happened? How did you die? What happened to you and the other spirits here?
When you say other spirits here, it backs up almost like doesn't know how to answer and a little taken off guard a little. It backs up.
Okay.
And you see it kind of shift its gaze to the floorboards. And you watch it kind of move. It's going to move out of Koza's melee range. It's going to move outside of Kervish's melee range. So both of you get opportunity of attacks if you want to take it.
I do not.
And it's going to shift over here to where we're going to say that hatch was over there in this area. It's going to wander over there and spin around so that it's facing you, but its head is down, and just kind of like sit there.
Okay. I will walk towards him, stay on the other side of that hatch. I'm like, tell me what happened.
All right. The rain looks like it's begun to let up. So from that far away, talking to a ghost, I'm going to need a stealth check from you, as these guys are still kind of moving around out here, for sure. But they are... This is kind of like a big, like, porch deck. They're moving along here. So stealth check from Kervish. See if you can whisper to him. Not going to be enough. Catches the attention of this humanoid one here. So he is going to break ranks and...
Is somebody being a lookout at the windows?
Right now, Koza can see out. And Koza, as you stand there being quiet, you see this humanoid guy with... he looks like he's carrying a wand in one hand. He's wearing green and brown and gray robes. He's got a symbol of what you've seen. You have seen the Talentar symbol on Iona, but this is a little different. It looks like whatever this symbol was, it got ripped out of the little carrying frame that's on the necklace, and the whole thing got spun upside down, so it's kind of empty. And he approaches the window, and that's where I'm going to stop his action. He's just going to stop just short of it, where you can see him and he can see you, but you look like a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
And at this moment, I'm only going to need a stealth check from the Mellish brothers because they don't look undead. Yeah, they're still very, very, very quiet and still. And it's very dark in here. Yeah, I'm going to say that since the Mellish brothers passed, he's going to stop at this window. He's going to look inside. And he's going to walk away. Almost made him do other stuff. And they're going to get a little farther away. Kervish, and what does anybody else want to do? Yuno is going to slowly lumber his way in a zombie way up the room towards you guys.
Baranor will do the same because I already checked the hatch for traps, right? But you said it was
locked. It's locked with it's like a rusty deadbolt that it looks like it's got a little like a real simple keyway in there, and it's all covered in like bits of rust.
Okay. I'm gonna take a look over at the window, see if there's anyone, or see if Koza or anybody sees anybody outside, and then we're gonna try and pick the lock.
All right, just why don't you roll I keep saying persuasion. Roll perception at advantage, because Koza is looking too.
Perception 20, yeah.
32. Oh, hey, I don't know if you listened to last session, but your character rolled without like pass out a trace and all these huge buffs, like just kind of a straight kind of roll. Your character rolled a natural 40.
Yeah, sleight of hand on something.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, I don't know what it was for, but so you can see you're paying attention real good. You can even feel how far away is your connection to Luna, your emotional connection. It's within a mile.
Oh yeah, then you get a feeling of I can see them and they can see you. This kind of a motherly guarding, like you're watching your child sort of tiptoe near something dangerous, and you're just kind of like, that's what you get from her. So you get the feeling she probably can see you.
She can see me?
Or see where you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Do you want me to do sleight of hand on the lock?
Yeah, let's do a thieves tools check.
All right.
And I'll give you a few tries. Yeah, but it probably won't be necessary.
37.
So with a 37, you go to pick it. Okay, and with a 37, I'll say that you are able to get your tools in there, but you realize that this lock is rusted shut.
Okay.
It's no longer a lock. It's now just a solid piece of twisted metal.
Okay. Can I use like a dagger to kind of force the lock?
Yeah, go ahead. You can make another thieves tools check. The DC will be significantly lower.
Noise too right now because we still got
out
that way.
Is there a chance you could cut around the lock? Because this is, like, it's old, we've already established the floorboards are rotten. Like, slowly cutting through wood might be quieter than forcing metal.
So, Yuno's going to walk up, and he's gonna take a breath, and he's going to, roll stealth for him. And right where you guys are, yeah, he got it. Right where you guys are, he puts his finger to his lips and says, "Here," and he's going to cast silence right over the hatch, and he's gonna move away outside of the 20-foot radius, which is, oh my gosh, where would that even be? Okay, yeah, like around here. He's going to move out, and he's going to say, "Okay, let's talk about what we're doing here." And the ghost just kind of looks around. You see him kind of moan, but you don't hear anything. It's somehow a little creepier.
Okay.
Like, I could try to use my cold breath to freeze the lock.
Well, the silence is over the hatch now, so I can force it without making
You could take a chainsaw to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try a dagger first.
Darkness.
So just a sleight of hand check, is that what you want?
Yeah, just a regular thieves' tool check. It's
Okay.
it's Dex plus proficiency.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh. So that's so it's a natural 1, but it's a reliable talent natural 1.
Does that mean it can't be a 1? Is that what reliable talent means?
That's a DM thing, because yes, it's a natural 1, but reliable talent makes it a 10, but it's still a natural 1. So
a 10 isn't enough.
No, well, it's 10 plus 20, which would be 30.
Oh. Yeah, but it's a natural 1, though.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's reliable talent natural 1.
Okay, I'll say this. I'll give you this.
Okay.
You jam this dagger into the you're kind of trying to pop the hinge or whatever.
Yeah, try to pop where the lock.
Which dagger? Which dagger are you using?
Like a standard dagger.
Yeah, that standard dagger. You see it. You grabbed one and you didn't know it, but whatever dagger this is was very poorly made and bends at 90 degrees because it's got a lot of iron in it. It's not a very tough metal, and you gotta try to pry it off. It just bends your dagger, and now you have a dagger in the shape of the number 7.
Okay.
If it's silenced, can't we just hit it with things?
Yeah, that was gonna be my suggestion. We can just kick it in.
Can we just mace it or something, guys?
I'm gonna cast primal savagery on myself.
If it has a purple component, no, you're not.
What? It's a semantic only.
Okay, cool.
And
you watch him silently kind of open mouth scream in the air, but without screaming.
Yes. So it causes fingernails to sharpen, and I'm going to deliver a corrosive attack to it with acid damage.
Who says we can't have a wolf man? Well, I'll say that's what you look like right now. You kind of take on wolf-like features, and you all see kind of black fur sprout from his ears and along his cheekbones and along his snout.
So it's a 20 to hit and 21 acid damage.
21. Okay, acid. All right, yeah. For some reason your fingernails splash a really nasty ogre-like hawking loogie on the ground of acid that spills out of your fingernails, and you watch as this starts to grow, this hole that it's eating away and steaming up into the air. You all get this very disgusting sour smell as this acid starts to eat away this organic floorboard, and you watch the hinges as it starts to spread out just kind of crumble and rust into dust, and the whole thing just sort of falls apart and topples down, and now there's this 3-foot hole in the ground leading down a disintegrating ladder, because the acid is falling through the floorboards and eating the ladder away. You watch the top of the ladder detach from the floor, and it falls down to the ground, and it's about 12 feet down.
Okay.
Finally, the acid stops, and the ground around it is difficult terrain and very soft.
I just look over towards Baranor and give him a thumbs up, awesome.
As my features return back to normal.
Okay.
Cool. That was cool.
Yeah. I'll kind of look around, and I'm like, if there's no other objections, I'm gonna hop down in the hole.
Okay. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Let's see if you twist your anky.
19.
Yeah, you land deftly on your feet. Not enough energy for a 3-point landing, but it's functional, and your half-elf eyes see in the dark, or no?
Yeah, I have dark vision, yeah.
Yeah, you scan around the room. You can see all corners of this. It's not exactly a cellar. Mm-hmm. There isn't furniture down here. It looks like the only access to this place is the ladder that just got destroyed. There's no way out. There's no stairs anywhere. It's just a big open space stacked with crates that look like they have to be small enough to fit through however big the hatch was. So not big crates, but boxes, rolled carpeting. It looks like there are a couple of shelves with wine bottles and all kinds of storage, things. And you also see there on the ground in the middle, straddling a rather large and very, very old blood stain. I'm talking splattered blood, 5 feet wide, many different directions, and also a large pooling, like just solid puddle of dried blood. So it's all almost black at this point, as there is a significant amount of dust covering everything. And you see 6 bodies. They definitely look like they've been down here a while. They are mostly skeletonized. No bugs in the area. It doesn't really smell that bad. It doesn't smell like horrendous decay. Doesn't smell like how you look.
Yeah.
And all of them have, there's a little bit of skin clinging to the bones. Looks like they were put down here and never moved. And, doesn't look like they have been changed into undead. They just look like corpses, but old corpses. Mm-hmm. And just a quick glance, especially with around, because is going to hop down. So is Azia. You see Azia grab her robe and kind of dive into it, so that you don't see anything as she twirls around and she's dressed.
Sure.
Very superhero of her. She hops down and she's going to detect undead, and she doesn't feel anything down here.
Okay.
They were murdered, just like everyone else the walking rot touches. Curious they were not added to the horde.
Well, is there anything you can do for him? I'm gonna whisper all of this.
Well, is going to pipe up and say, we can speak to one of them. And he pulls out the dead man's tongue dagger.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. He's attuned to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to also come down. But first, I'm just going to see, is there any way that I can go down on a rope? How deep is the jump?
It is 12 feet.
Yeah, is someone going to stay up there with a rope?
Reaper, if that's okay. I just looked at her we need somebody to stay up here to keep a lookout. And between the two of us, we can fashion a rope to get us down.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So Reaper,
the Mellish brothers
will stay up.
Yeah, they're gonna go way over here, way down. You see where they are down here, and just watch this corner of the house, because they can kind of keep an eye on all these windows. And you watch them both disappear and become invisible. And Reaper, they can do this. They have one thing they can do, and it's using an action that can cast an invisibility spell because of an item they hold. And so they do that, and they go invisible over here. You can still hear them if you were listening, but that's where they go. So everyone descends into the hole to look at these creatures. And you know what? No, he was not attuned to this dagger. So it's gonna take an hour of hanging on to it for somebody to use that. But I'm gonna say that I think I need to look up something. I think Azia has Speak with Dead.
I think I have that as well. I think it's the Grave Domain thing. Maybe? Or do I
Well,
not?
she's
I've
a
actually
she's a
not
bit of
got
a
it in
homebrew
my-
sub. She's kind of a homebrew subclass, but she has. Yes, she does. She has Speak with Dead, so she offers to speak to one of them, and is going to say, "Are we sticking around here for an hour more? If so, one of us can talk to it." And there's 6 people down here, so it sounds like we can do this 3 times.
Yeah. I mean, if that's something we want to do.
Oh, no, I've got Raise Dead. I've not got Speak with Dead.
I'm going to carefully inspect the crates.
Okay. They are all opened. They're all opened. They're all of them are empty, like 2 down from the top. But you start to take crates down. I'm going to need a stealth check because wood on stone makes noise.
Oh no!
All right, you pick one up and it kind of falls apart because it's old. It's been old and it looks like it was actually sitting underneath I think that's Steph's out. Yeah, she must have pieced out. Bye, Steph.
We still got
see you when you
eventually
eventually log in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what? Well. The crates. This whole room has a space underneath it, so I'll say, Baranor, you were not in that sphere of silence.
Okay.
You were somewhere over here. There's a lot more space that you could have been, and there's no crates directly underneath the sphere. So yeah, you pick up a box and it just sort of shatters and crumbles to the floor, and everybody just kind of looks at you. And being that you have like 3/4 cover because you're in a basement setting, I'm going to say that whoever's nearby has disadvantage on a perception. Okay, that's a natural 2, and that's a 17.
No.
All right, so you all just sort of sit for a second, and you don't hear anybody upstairs. Just kind of looks at Baranor. It doesn't say anything.
No. Baranor's just going to look at the floor.
Okay, so let's have an investigation check from Baranor to see what he gets out of the boxes that are too deep for lazy people to have investigated. 21. Pretty good. I'll say that there are items in this room, in some of these crates. Most of it is innocuous, but I'll tell you what it is. You find 300 yards in total of like rolled cotton sheeting. They're spread out from like maybe 7 of these skeins of fabric in some of these crates. You also find very, very old, shriveled up corn on the cob. It looks like it's no better than pig feed at this point. You'd have to soak it and you have to boil it in water to get it to be edible. And you're not sure if it's got, the famous corn dust disease that old corn typically suffers. And, and you find various other comestibles. There's very, very dry grain that looks like it's kept quite well. I'll say it's a total of 30 pounds of dry grain. There's sort of stuff like that. There is a crate of tools that looks like it hasn't been gone through. You're the first to open it, and that touching any of these things will probably make noise. So you just sort of scan the interior. It looks like some sort of like wood cutting tools for working in the woods. Maybe there's like a collapsible splitter, and there's an axe, and there's hammers and spikes and things like that.
Okay.
All right.
Without trying to draw too much ire from the spirit, I want to look over the bodies. See if there's anything that can identify them.
Well, I will allow you to make a perception check or investigation or medicine. I'll leave that to you.
Perception it is.
All right. This will be a high DC.
23.
All right. Do you move them? Or because they are like piled on top of each other.
At first, no. I am not moving them. I'm just looking them over.
The closer, I'm guessing you get pretty close, they do start to smell at this range.
Mm-hmm.
There is a deep, old, fungusy, mushroomy rot as you get closer to them. And all of them, their mouth agape. Some of their jaws have detached. And all of them none of them have eyes. They've been long sunken in, dried out, and disintegrated over, the 6 or so months that this place has been since it was overrun. It's a long time for a corpse out in the open to decompose, and so there's not a lot. You can't even really tell what race they are, although one of them does have sharpened incisors and facial horns that look like they've been filed way down, almost even with the skull by maybe a quarter of an inch.
Tiefling.
Possibly, it does. You notice kind of a limp, lying, sort of elongated spinal column that ends in a point. So looks like a tiefling tail, perhaps.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's very small corpses here.
Okay.
And not sure halfling or child or both.
Okay.
And their clothes, it looks like nothing here burned, so their clothes are relatively intact. 6 months, it's not that long. It's not like they've been here 300 years. Right. So their clothes are pretty much intact. And every one of them has, hello, Steph, on the road, don't get into an accident. Their clothes are relatively intact with a deep black stain in their chest or up near the neck. And those that don't have kind of, open neck, collars, the ones that are closed, you see stab wounds through the fabric.
Yeah. While it's still attuning, I'll look to the spirit and I'll gently whisper to him, it's like, may I separate these bodies for appropriate burial?
Let's see. I don't know if you have to persuade him, but he needs to be able to understand you. Even though you speak the same language, he's in a different place.
Right.
Mentally. So, make an intimidation check.
Intimidation?
Yeah. Let's just see if your will can out-dominate his confusion and sadness and hatred.
30-20.
All right. He's going to roll an insight check. And he's going to get a 2. He, even with a 20, he rolled insight to where he doesn't know you. He doesn't trust you. He's understands you're not hostile, but now you're talking about moving them, and he starts to grow in size. His face starts to elongate and get a little ghastly again, and he kind of snarls at you.
I'll back off. Universal sign of not the face.
Yeah. He shrinks a little. Like his fingernails are still long and corporeal compared to the rest of him, but he sort of gets a little smaller. And you see that anger and hatred and rage start to devolve as his face grows soft into utter sadness and despair. You see a pair of legs formulate underneath him and his face grow normal again. He looks like he might have been a half elf, and handsome, young-ish, 30s, 40s, long black hair, thin, long black eyebrows, and a real ornamental kind of mustachey and goatee. You see him drop to his knees, his black eyes leak with a black oil as it sort of falls down his face, and you see that wound in his chest. The blood grows and spreads wide across his chest, and he just drops to his knees and silently sobs. And you see him just kind of like hands and knees on the ground, kneeling over one of the corpses, and it's really difficult to tell who this was.
Looking at it, a pretty good guess, though.
They're kind of phasing in and out of reality. They start to dim very darkly and then pulse back slowly.
I will, and I'll motion to Azia, if she would help me with this. I will kind of go down to my knees in front of the pile of bodies, and I will start to say a prayer for them.
Okay. Make a religion check. And I'll have her help you because she is going to take your lead. And as if her Bast statue was before her, she's going to drop to her knees and put a hand on your shoulder.
11 out of 10.
So you see a necklace around the throat of one of the corpses, the one that the ghost is kneeling over.
Uh-huh.
And it is a symbol you don't recognize. It's not Bahamut. It's not Pelor. It's not Talona.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of, but you can tell it's definitely got some sort of significance. And your prayer is you get the feeling that this ghost is looking at you with a little confusion, almost like a very young child would crick its neck at a noise it doesn't recognize. And you get the feeling that while that was a nice gesture, they didn't resonate too much.
Okay.
Doesn't make them angry.
Yeah.
Can
I make my own religion check and guidance myself?
Yeah, guidance myself, but anyway.
Yep. What did you want to do, Kravish?
I said, yeah, I completely forgot about being able to cast guidance on myself for that.
Uh-huh.
Don't think it's going to do much, though. I'll look towards Azia, and I'll point towards that symbol. It's like, do you recognize that?
Okay. Let's get a religion check from Iona, and I'll roll one for Azia. Ooh, she rolled very high.
Okay, if Iona doesn't know this, I'm not even going to roll guidance on that. Or let's see how much higher I can get it. Okay, so to an 8, but it's still there.
Hold on. Okay. Ooh. So, Iona, this, aside from the major religions that you read in a book once, like the Pelor, Cord, Moradin, and some of the bad ones, Asmodeus, that you read about those gods in a book that you kind of hid from people. It was very brief. It didn't go into their their lore and backgrounds. Just kind of says who they are, who they're the god of, who their worshippers are, and stuff like that. And this one was not in your book. You had mostly it was a very generalized book, like maybe 20 deities were in there, and this one wasn't one of them.
Yeah, I think I read a book at in Azia's Ziggurat about the deities, but I already got advantage on that roll because Azia was helping me.
Yep. Azia. So let's see. Did anybody else roll? No. I guess Koza, what are you doing? You're here too.
He's just here because they thought there were snacks.
Beef jerky, maybe. Pig feed. Crack corn.
I guess at some point I would have just kind of joined the group.
Yeah.
And whatever everybody else was doing. Quietly, of course. Once I figured it was safe to do so.
Okay.
Just 5 zombies gathered around a ghost.
You also see this huge pile of corpses, and Kravish trying and failing to appease this ghost. This ghost seems like they've been through it, folks. They don't seem keen on being real, unconditionally agreeable. So Azia kind of drops to her knee and you see her look up at the ghost, and she's going to place her hand on the corpse's jaw, and she's going to grasp her symbol of Bast, this little cat's paw necklace around, and you see her mutter some words. I'll make her roll stealth. That's an 18. That's pretty good. And you see that jaw start to materialize with a very dim spectral energy that kind of adds sort of a ghostly flesh to the skull. And it starts to move a little and undulate, and the skeleton sort of sits up briefly. It's pinned by another body on top of it, but it sort of sits up on its elbow and cranes its face over to Azia, and she just kind of looks at everyone and says, "I cannot ask anyone any questions. I assume you know what I want to know from the group. If I ask a question, it will answer me. I can do this 5 times."
Oh, okay. So are you pulling us for things to ask?
How many people are down here with us? It's me, Krish.
It's everyone but Reaper and the Mellish. Yeah, everyone but Reaper and the Mellish brothers.
Okay. I'm going to select 5. Okay. So there are 5 of us down here, or 6?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the silence has dropped, by the way. You all notice that dome seems like... Including what?
Including me, 6.
Oh, hold on. I gotta take this away. Okay. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
Okay. So everyone
in this area here. That's 6 of you.
Everyone who's down in the hole, I will connect psychic whispers to.
Okay.
So
if
you have a question for her to ask, relay it to me psychically. I will psychically ask her or relay it to her.
Okay.
She says, "Good idea, Baranor."
That way, no one speaks.
Until I have to ask it a question, but that's just one time we have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what do we ask here first? She's definitely related to this person and was definitely murdered and killed.
I'll guess, who are they? Who are you and your companion here who seems to clearly grieve?
All right, we want to ask who are you?
Who are all of you here?
All right. Does everyone else agree with that? Do we want to know that from these people? Who are they in relation to this place?
That sounds like good information to know.
All right. I'll ask it. Go ahead and think of another as I ask it. And she's going to turn around and lean down close to this thing, and she's going to give a look up to the ghost, who at this moment is sort of fluctuating between very, very handsome and very, very old and withered, and parts of its face phase into that, age difference as it just sort of stands there. It looks lost. It looks sad, and gives it a little nod, and it just looks at her, doesn't really respond. And she asks the animated corpse, "What does this place, mansion, mean to you and these people with you?" The ghost says, or the corpse, you see it kind of crack its jaw as if it hasn't moved in ages. "We lived here." And psychically, she's going to say, "All right, I kind of guessed that much, but now we know that these corpses are the original residents. What now?"
During Iona's vision, was it an undead that killed the ghost that tried to possess her?
No. The person that was trying to stab you in the vision?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
What did they look like?
It looked like a guy with matted brown hair, sort of an unkempt beard, real tattered leather armor, with a dirty in the face, very much alive.
Okay, no, like walking rot allegiance signifiers then.
You didn't get that good a look at it. It happened very quickly. Nothing obvious. You didn't see a symbol of Talona. You didn't see a symbol of a disgraced symbol of Talona. You didn't see anything really dangling from the neck. It just kind of looked like a bad guy doing bad stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna relay this information to the group as a sort of, it might have been, but it might not have been. But we have no guarantee that they actually died by the walking rot. It's likely, but it's not certain.
Then I guess it was, who were the ones that killed you?
Okay. I'm gonna have the corpse roll insight. That's a fail. So Azia absorbs this and does her best to kind of relay that to her. Who is the one that killed you and your family? And this almost dwarf-looking female face that is kind of the only thing that's materialized, and then all of a sudden the right shoulder starts to very skeletal. It starts to get covered in that very faint ethereal energy and forming a kind of an arm of ghost flesh, and looking at all of you, points its finger at Azia. Your people. And Azia just kind of gets up and backs away and looks at all of you and says, "No, it wasn't me." And all of you realize that you are still dressed as undead.
Oh.
And in its disturbed state, it judged you as such.
Okay, why don't we go ahead and just drop this illusion now?
No, let's. No, because then we'd have to bring it up again when we leave. And this thing will answer us no matter what. The ghost already knows that we're not hostile, so...
So we know it was the undead that... We can deduce it was the undead were the ones that killed them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, interesting thing. You see the ghost drop to its knee, or it dropped to its knees earlier. At this moment, it's like crawling on its hands and knees towards this corpse, and it looks like it's shouting at her through silence. Even though that silence spell dissipated, it's like pleading with her, and she doesn't even see this ghost, the corpse. It's completely disregarding him.
Do we want to... psychically, I'm like, do we want to know how long ago it was that they were killed, or is that immaterial?
I feel like that's them. They've been dead. Like, I think Joe said, like 6-ish months, maybe.
Okay, so it's not really
a while.
It's not really important for us to know from them directly.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think about the best way to phase asking the question is, like, if they in any way encountered Aura or were aware of her, what sort of weapons did she have? What sort of threats did she pose? I'm just trying to think of the best way to phrase that in a way that they'd understand that we're asking about Aura, even if they never knew her name. Just so we can find out if she's got anything else up her sleeve, or if it's just like, they wouldn't know about the flying things, so the flying things are new. We know she's got a broom, we know she's got some kind of scepter thing, but this is just like, does she have anything else? I'm trying to find the best way to phrase that one.
Do we have any idea how long the walking rot have been in this area?
You would know, so would you know, that 6 months ago, the walking rot overran this village.
Okay. So,
and drove out the the soldiery and kidnapped or killed or enslaved the citizenry, and has been occupying it ever since.
okay.
Why weren't these ones turned? Is there any way we can figure that out?
Would they know? Would they know why they weren't turned? They weren't turned, but would they know why?
I don't know.
Pretty slaughtered and tossed.
But they
What
still...
roles do these people play in life?
Okay. Who do they worship? That could be something we could ask.
Yeah, or were these
What's the symbol on their...
we could ask them that question. What is the symbol around your neck?
Yeah, what does it give them? Some kind of protection?
Yeah, I thought Azia knew that. I thought she rolled high on her religion, so she'd know.
Yep. She recognized this as a forest deity called Sylvanus, which isn't a super popular deity within the Empire. Not even that it's banned, it's not really that well known. But the Garden of Mist is home to a lot of people that follow Sylvanus. It's kind of like an oak leaf, and it has sort of a real woodsy thing to it. And Azia knows it because she's met people here that worship him. He's kind of a druidy god, although Koza, I'll say Koza, you kind of knew what it was, but nobody asked you, which is true. It's not of super it doesn't feel super important, because this feels like a religion that would be worshipped by the people who lived in this part of the world. It's not an evil god. It's not a trickery god. It's just kind of straightforward.
I think I might have found a way to phrase my question, if we're okay with using up one thing on it, which is, I'm thinking we could ask, when the needle was overrun, what made the attackers... What was the most dangerous thing about the attackers? Or the most dangerous things, make it plural so that they have the chance to answer the list instead of one thing. Does that work?
Azia's gonna say that sounds good to her.
Yeah, okay, so when the needle was overrun, what were the most dangerous things about the attackers? Yeah, okay.
All right. Azia's gonna do her best to translate that, playing the telephone game. When they came, and you were killed, what was the most dangerous threats posed to your village? And the woman, she kind of snaps her neck towards Azia as she had been sort of wandering her gaze around the room a little. Swords and something that made the dead people attack us. Lots of magic and a very large warrior man.
Large warrior. Psychically, does that ring a bell to anyone? Large warrior man?
Only briefly to Iona. You have no idea who this is referring to, but in your final hours before fleeing the commune, you do know that there was a rather large, strongman-looking fella who Iona kind of ordered around along with everyone else before she drove you away. And you don't know him. He just looked grisly and serious and dangerous. He didn't carry any weapons that you saw, but he's a big guy. And he was alive the last time you saw him.
Yeah, and I'm going to relay that it sounds like someone who might have been part of the town tar, but that given, clearly there have been many changes in the status and in the abilities of people that I used to know. So while before he was just, big and dangerous in sort of the common way, there might be some more to it than it was before.
I'm still wondering, again, why they weren't turned. It's like, what did these people do in life? What was their relation to each other? What did they do in this town? Was there something about that they didn't want to turn them for?
How many questions do we have left? 2 or 3?
2.
Do you want to just ask them and see if they know why they weren't turned? Maybe they know why. What was special about them? Do we want to waste a question on that?
I kind of feel like it's significant, but I don't know. What do you think, Ravish?
I mean, I'm the one that posed the question, so of course I think it's significant.
Yeah, true.
I think it could give us a clue as to why they're here.
Okay.
All right. Azia is going to kind of... Yeah. How do you want to word it?
Yeah.
I would, what was it about you or your family that caused you to be spared from being turned into undead like the rest of the town?
They might not know that, though.
Well, then they don't know. And we know that.
Okay. All right.
Dudes, nobody's coming up with other fucking questions. No one at all.
Oh, no. Hi, Steph.
Oh, my.
You're here, too. Oh, no, you're not. You're upstairs.
Oh,
Yeah.
We just hear her yelling downstairs. Still yelling from
You just heard...
Ask
I know.
You just stomp at her feet. Where's that pigeon?
Metagaming pigeon.
All right. So Azia's going to kind of give you guys a look like, I am assuming that question is what you want me to ask. Because I cannot ask that question.
Okay. Yeah.
He leans down and says, and she starts to get as like legal as she can. What reason, if any? What reason were you and your family spared from being turned to undead upon your death? And it's that moment that the dwarven corpse kind of goes and looks very startled and disturbed and looks right at Azia. Those that killed us, hid us here, wanted their way with us away from prying eyes. So said our murderers to each other.
What? Our murderers were zombies.
Yeah, no, you guys didn't stop about that. Fuck off.
She said they wanted their way with us after they killed us, away from prying eyes. And it sounded like it was a argument between the two.
Right, but they had said that their murderers looked like us, like zombies.
No,
we
they
look
said
like
that
zombies
was
right
the
now.
most.
You said
What?
that your people
Your people
killed us.
Oh, okay, so they had like zombies and handlers.
You have seen that dynamic around the needle.
Yeah. Okay. What? That's an interesting. They wanted their way with them that was outside of the walking rots?
It's fucking gross, is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Azia is going to look at the corpse and cock her head and say, "No. There's something about the way she said that they looked like us, but still one of them. Perhaps there is someone that looks undead, disguises themselves perhaps, but is actually a lieutenant."
Do we know anyone like that in their ranks?
Someone with a very ghastly or wanton appearance who could pass for an undead?
We know they have magic. They could disguise themselves.
Yeah, but why disguise themselves? Well,
These are a lot of questions.
No, this is all
I know. I'm just saying. Azia's like, these are a lot of questions. Which one am I asking?
No,
This is just us talking among ourselves.
We are brainstorming. We are brainstorming. We are not.
We're not. I'm just thinking. We don't know how perfect things are within the Walking Rock. If there's dissension within the ranks, people would want to do things away from prying eyes. And if you want to do things away from prying eyes, then you do what we're doing. You disguise yourself as a zombie.
What did they want to do to these people outside of prying eyes, though?
Yeah, that is a very good question. And the way she phrased, have their way with us, it seems a little bit...
Yeah, were they
odd? Like, in
was
what
it some necrophilia going on, or was it something different?
Legitimately.
Are we talking CSI here?
Were they trying? They said there's lots of blood. Were they like tortured for some kind of information that they might need, but they didn't want everybody to know about it? Like,
what would these people know that the Walking Rot dissidents, if we're calling them that, would need?
Maybe if we knew what they did in life.
Okay, Kravish. What do you want to know?
How many questions have we got left?
One.
Because,
one last question.
Okay,
what do you want to know?
How do we... Well, in that case, we need to know what they knew that was important, and if what they did in life had no relation to that, then...
Yeah.
But what if they don't know anything?
Okay.
Yeah, and then we don't know what they
didn't know. Well, nobody knows what they don't know, but like, if it is something that's insignificant to them, then they wouldn't think that would be something.
The entirety of what you know.
Tell me everything you know right now.
give us
reverse chronological order, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Give us the lore.
Okay, why do I feel like this is a ChatGPT questioning here?
Give us the last events of your last day of your life.
I got up. I went to the bathroom.
Azia kind of perks her head up and is like, that's actually not a bad idea. We could get a chronicling of their last days and find out exactly what really happened.
I mean, if that fits into a question, sure.
I don't know. Is that what we want to ask?
Yes, I think that's what Kravish wants to know.
This is so on brand for Stupid Dead in D&D.
Because if we ask them what their last day was like, we figure out what they do.
Not if it was their day off. Okay, I gotta go. I gotta go. Bye, guys. Have a good rest of your session.
Well, I woke up and went to my job at the coal mine.
We sang hi-ho on the way there. We sang hi-ho on the way back.
All right, so Azia kind of gathers what you're trying to say and puts it into the question of describe all of the important points of your last day on this earth. And the corpse.
Are we on?
Well, Earth as in like
I get
land.
Terra firma. Yeah, I got you.
Do you want me to ask that question?
No. What's the meaning of life?
The 42. Have fun with that.
Yeah.
Now, Azia articulates her question, and the corpse sits up, and you can see that blue ethereal energy start to gather more and more and sort of recede up the torso into the neck, and now it looks like it's just barely animating, and it's receded into the so just the face is showing now of like this ghostly image. A day like any other, we awoke. My beloved went to the needle for the day. We had visitors to discuss selling land, and we heard the invasion. They ran through. You saw their faces. It was horrible. They stabbed and stabbed and took us downstairs as we died. And then they argued over what they would do as the light left me. The corpse falls, the light leaves its eyes. A certain disappointment kind of washes over the group at the lack of information. And about this time, Yuno stands up. His eyes recede from a glow back to his eyes. He holds the dagger, pulls it out of its sheath, and says, "There's 5 more corpses in here, guys."
Oh.
And that's where we're going to end the session.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to go to the whole graveyard like the gang did in the movie? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole time that you guys were talking to this ghost, Yuno was attuning to this dagger, and just kind of every time you asked a question that he didn't agree with, he just like silently kind of like it twinged his back but he's got the dagger, and we will pick up here next session, which will not be in 2 weeks, just to remind everybody. May 3rd, Ken is tying the knot.
Really?
And, yep.
That's ironic.
Yeah. Why is that ironic?
That was my parents' anniversary, as well as the day I went to basic training.
Oh, wow. An important day for you.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be an important day for him, too.
Yeah.
So that puts us on the 17th of May. And barring any, I know Ken will be back for that one. And barring any other scheduling conflict, which just, shoot me a text, let me know. We'll go around it. This was a really fun session, you guys. I like to watch you guys interrogate. I like to cause trauma. You like to interrogate / torture, but like just in parentheses.
Whoa.
Look, that was that one guy, okay?
Yeah, but you were really good at it. So, all right. Well, sorry I ran a little late, guys. I hope that doesn't make anybody late for anything. But I feel like it was important for you to get through your 5 questions. And we'll see what the rest of these corpses have to say once Yuno communicates with them himself. So, thanks for showing up, and we'll see you guys in 1 month.
All right. Peace out.
All right.
Bye.
See. Bye.
Yes.